X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time.
Can you see it? All the ones who drag my name every single day. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? They keep saying you don't have what it takes to carve out your own name underneath the shadows of gods. And I keep waiting for the day disbelievers say I flew way too close to the sun. I wait, but it never really comes. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. Why do they just stand there against when they fall from the battles I have overcome? You feel it, feel the cope and the seething tone that they make while I stand up, man among gods. And I keep thinking with my mill, shooting ropes in my cold that faces towards the sun. They hate, but I'm sitting comfy with their mom. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who speak facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all that shackled minds. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A spell that attracts all who spit facts online all the time. The X in my name is not just a symbol or a target sign. A force that compels all to rebel from all right shackled minds. It's you and me, your mom, it's me. I'll take another hit from my name. You'll see now. Watch me not now. Punch your face now. Let me show you how.
Well, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the Xanderhall stream. I don't know why I decided to do my intro with a southern twang there, but for some reason I felt like it would be fitting today. I've been playing a lot of Fallout 76. Actually a good game. Stay mad. Stay fucking mad. They've actually kind of made it good. I don't know if it's, like, been substantially updated since launch. It seems like it probably has. But so far, I'm quite enjoying it. Oh, wait, hold on a second. There may be an issue with audio. Let me fix that. There we go. Now that is what I'm talking about, my friends. That is much better, is it not? Much better, yeah. I started using NVIDIA Broadcast. I just hadn't selected it on OBS yet, so I had to do that manually. Sorry about that, I forgot. Fuck, I gotta go. I've been summoned for dinner. Well, Virtual Girl 1, enjoy your food. May it nurture your organs and your bones and your flesh to grow bigger and stronger and continue to exist, like food is meant to do. Hope you're doing well, Xanderhall. I'm doing pretty well. How are you? Hello there, Phoenix. Hello there, Grilled Gecko, Brain Hurts, Just Here to Leave, Coin Dog, Wingo, Emu Anon 34, Insert Creative User, Lorenz42S, Lumi Red, how are you? DC West, good to see you. Transgal, how are you? Lomedea, hello there. Oh, I know, Lomedea, I know. Lorenz, hello. Luke Took, hello there. Dilster, good to see you. Thanks. I'm also in the Dovahkiin 1, so you know. Oh, so you're Dovahkiin 1. I see. Okay. Hello there, Rapidexa. I remember you from the 2B2T days. 2 builders, 2 tools. God, I hope that server updates. I just got a hair in my mouth. I saw it fly into my mouth, and I felt it go in there. I think I got it. That's quite upsetting. That's actually quite upsetting. They just did, actually, 1.1.9.1. Wait, what? 2B2T is updated? Bullshit. I'll be able to tell right now. I'm launching Minecraft. I'll check. Surprisingly, I'm not lying. He just died. Wait, what? Who just died? Or he just did, I think he meant to say. Wait, if you're not memeing, then... No way. There's no way. There's no way 2B2T is updated to 1.19. There's no fucking way. I would have known. I would have heard. I'm checking right now. I'm launching Minecraft. I'm checking. If this is true, then this is the best news I've heard all day, frankly. I've been waiting for this since 2019 at least, if I'm being honest with you guys. 2B2T has needed an update for a hot fucking minute, guys. Hey, by the way, secret cat, do you see it? Do you see it? It's on screen. Secret cat. Let's see this shit. You lying to me? You wouldn't lie to me, would you, Rapidexa? You wouldn't be a...2b2t.org. Velocity 1.7.2 through 1.19. What's that mean? I'm on 1.19.2. Incompatible client. Please use 1.7.2 through 1.19. Is that Lonnie's cat, or did you get your own? No, that's Lonnie's cat. I'm still watching Luna. Taking good care of her. So is the cat growing on you like an adorable sponge? I mean, listen, I've never disliked Luna. She's a beautiful little baby, but she's also a cat. And you know, yeah, she's a cat. So yeah, that's you know, I think that ought to get the point across. She's a cat. Hold on. I'm launching the game now in just 1.19 because apparently I can't log in with 1.19.2. But I think Rapidexa might not have been lying. I think it might have actually updated. If so, we might be doing a 2B2T gaming stream. Building my ideal aquatic update sea base. I'm 280 in queue because I don't have prio queue right now. I canceled my thing, but it let me in. How do I see what server? Okay, so it let me in on 1.19. Hold on. 2B2T. Has it actually updated? Where would I see? I guess the Reddit would be the best place to find out. It's been so long. Nah, you fucking with me. There's nothing here. There's nothing here that indicates the server is updated. When Zan was building the aquatic base, well, my plan was to actually decorate it with, I'm not fucking with you, I swear. Are you sure you're not talking about a test server? You're telling me the main 2B2T server has been updated to 1.19. This has gotta be bullshit. This has gotta be bullshit. There's nothing on YouTube. There's no, nah, you're fucking trolling. If 2B2T had updated, viewer count would be higher. You fucking got me. You fucking got me to look. Oh, you got me to look. Oh. That's some 2B2T trolling right there. We just had a Pop Bob moment. Or a Pop Bobette. Because Pop Bob is canonically trans. It's true. I genuinely thought it was updated, Lamau. No, listen, if 2B2T updated, that would be fucking massive news. I figured you hadn't played 2B2T in a while. Most of my old 2B2T friends or people that I knew or that I met through 2B2T don't play anymore. I still tentatively watch 2B2T, awaiting for it to update, because every feature that they've added to Minecraft that would make 2B2T more fun for me is post 1.12. A lot of the aquatic update stuff, the updates they made when it comes to like shaders and stuff. The big problem I've heard is that Minecraft servers that have a lot of players on them, especially when it's like really rough on the system, are way harder to run post 1.12. It's very possible the 2B2T map just cannot be transported over to 1.19 plus or anything behind it. Mojang doesn't want to support multi-threading. It's such bullshit. It's such bullshit. I'm so glad that Hytale's getting made, because Mojang just makes these decisions that community fucking hates, that the community just overwhelmingly hates, and their response to it is to either ignore pushback, condescendingly talk down to the people criticizing it or asking for a thing, or, God forbid, make a cutesy statement about how the thing they're asking for is stupid, because insert really stupid reason. Oh my god. Did you see the Minecraft devs' reasoning for why they would never add sharks to Minecraft? They claimed they were worried that children would play Minecraft and see sharks, and if they made sharks aggressive, then they'd think sharks were evil and try to kill sharks in real life. And then they thought if they made sharks too friendly in the game, then kids would think sharks are friends and try to befriend them in real life. That was unironically the argument that the Mojang Minecraft devs made on stage at Minecon Live in response to the... Or no, it wasn't on Minecon Live. It was during like a live stream where they were playing Minecraft, and they said that was their reason why they're never adding sharks. Now, that's just sharks. I know, sharks aren't a big deal. Okay, Minecraft doesn't need sharks. Maybe they don't fit the theme. There's plenty of better excuses they could have used, frankly. I think a better excuse would have been, we're trying to focus Minecraft's mob development more on fantasy mobs right now, so implementing real-life mobs would kind of take away from the direction we're trying to move the game in. But they won't even do that, because they so desperately want to keep their fucking design philosophy a secret. Jeb has this little tiny green book that only Mojang devs are allowed to see that has Minecraft's design philosophy and the basic borders and rules of what they'll add to the game and what they'll change and what they'll update and how they'll, form those updates. Basically, it's like, what kind of things would they add to the game? What kind of things won't they add to the game? The kind of thing that you would desperately want to know as a Minecraft fan, like a basic design philosophy that most game devs would give to their fan base, even pre-game launch. The Hytale devs have given us a pretty damn good idea of Hytale's design philosophy. Like, a pretty damn good idea of it. And the game's not even out yet. How is it that to this day, we don't know Minecraft's design philosophy? We're only able to put bits and pieces together and more or less just figure out it's meant to be simple and kind of contentless, if I'm being honest. Stay mad. Minecraft is kind of contentless. It's true. I've played Minecraft for... Wow. I almost said 10 years. I've played Minecraft for 12 years now. Wow. Whew. I just realized... Something I realized last night while I was talking to Ethan, by the way. I was in a call where he was playing Fallout New Vegas. I got him to play it, and I got his game modded up. Don't worry, I left the call after he got, like, past where I am in the game, so I wouldn't get spoiled. But while we were playing it, I brought up, I just realized a kid who was born the day that I started playing Minecraft is now the same age as I was when I started playing Minecraft. That's the thought that makes you feel old. It gets worse. Oh, I know. I know. It's just, it's when you start getting into the age range where if your age was cut in half, you'd still be a sentient human being, that things start getting scary. Zam, stop it. You're making me feel old. I'm 23 years old, chat. Teenagers scare me now. I figured out what I actually am now in regards to generations, okay? I'm a Zoomber. 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 It's like a boomer and a zoomer mixed together. And frankly, I welcome it. I'm a Zoomber. Same 23 gang. I can feel the wrinkles growing on my face, chat. It's ridiculous. I'm basically dead. Take your age, then subtract your age. Oh my god, I'd be 0 years old. Holy fuck. Hey there, the Dark Canuck. Old lol Minecraft looks like computerized Lego to me. It kind of is computerized Lego. That was more or less the go-to... Like, the go-to, thing that I would do. You know? Like, that was the go-to, like, example I would use when explaining, Minecraft to my parents. I'd be like, it's like digital Lego. Yeah, it's my go-to explanation. If I ever have to explain Minecraft to somebody, the go-to is like, it's digital Lego. Too young for millennials, too old for general Gen Z. I know, it's like this weird dead zone. I was born in 1999. Talk about Mars-a-Lago. We will be talking about Mar-a-Lago. Why did I say Mars-a-Lago? We will be talking about Mar-a-Lago. Don't you guys worry. I do know about the FBI raid, all of that. It's going to be very juicy, very spicy. Imagine I'm like biting into a pepper. Damn, this fucking NVIDIA broadcast software does not get anything but my voice through that mic. I appreciate that, but it makes it hard to do weird noises into the mic and gross you guys out, which is one of my favorite parts of streaming. Oh my god, I forgot that I make money doing this. Lawrence42_S, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Said, for the quail! For the quail! Thank you, I really appreciate it. By the way, chat, if you want to support me and you want to help me, you know, not starve to death, and if you want to help my editor, content manager, and assistant, Cherry, not starve to death, by the way, my editor, poggers as fuck, Cherry, recently dropped out of college to go full-time editing for me. Pretty fucking pog. Pretty fucking epic. And everyone give Cherry a goddamn round of applause. Because without their hard work, I certainly wouldn't be where I am today. And believe me, the heights that we are going to reach in the future certainly wouldn't be possible without them either. So everybody make sure to be as... well, to be as thankful to Cherry as possible. Zan, will you do the entire stream with the broadcaster voice? Am I doing a broadcaster voice right now? This is just how I talk when I'm chill and high. I do be high right now. Yeah. Cherry, maybe reconsider college? No, Jade Bunky. Cherry's already gotten a degree and everything. The reason they were still in college. I'm not going to divulge Cherry's personal stuff, but all I'm saying is Cherry has weighed the decisions. We've weighed the decisions. It's not made lightly. But yeah, it's going to mean that content on my channel is going to be a lot more higher quality and a lot more higher yield. We've been talking for a while now about pumping up the uploads to 2 uploads per day, one at 5 a.m., one at 5 p.m. And as much as we were trying to, Cherry had to balance school and like work at the same time, and it was like really difficult. So now that they're going full-time editing, it's going to be a substantial boost to the channel. Expect things to skyrocket in the near future. You're lucky you guys got on early, because you are going to be here before 1 billion Xanderhall subscribers. Cherry totally did not know you had your degree. Cherry totally, well, a degree. I won't say what. Cherry can say what. I don't actually remember which, because I'm actually very, very bad at remembering things, and I don't know anything about the college experience, because I decided I didn't want to go to college when I was like 15. I'm not going to lie, chat. When I was like 10 years old, and I discovered YouTube, and I started watching YouTube content, I pretty quickly realized I wanted to grow up and become a YouTuber. I very quickly realized I did not want to do some dumbass, like, miserable job that I hate, go to college for God knows how many years, never truly be free of going to school, which, by the way, fucking hated school. Always hated it. Never enjoyed school. I don't know. I literally looked forward to graduation day of high school like it was my last day in prison, you know? And like asking me to go to college after going to school would be like asking me to voluntarily go on probation after getting out of prison when I don't have to. Like, why? I worked hard enough to become a YouTuber. Why would I do that? Chat, donate to the Quail Arc, and maybe Zan will play Stray if we hit the dono goal. Listen, guys, if you make us, if by the end of the year, you guys raise enough for me to be able to move to Seattle, and I'm established in Seattle and all that, I will play Stray on stream. I have not watched any videos about it. I don't even know what the game is about besides Cat that walks around and claws things and lays on people and stuff. I heard it's good. It sucks. Oh, okay. Well, people want me to play Stray, so I will consider playing Stray if you guys donate. We're getting more shameless around here, guys. You guys got to cough up the cash, okay? If you can't afford it, don't. But if you can, you better fucking do it, or I'm going to find you, and I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to sneak into your home in the middle of the night, into your room, and I'm going to come up real close next to you, and I'm going to get right up next to your face. I'm going to wake you up. I'm going to hold my hand against your mouth so you can't scream. And you know what I'm going to say into your ear? You want to know what I'm going to say into your ear? My name, Jeff. You don't want that to happen. So with that said, you may want to consider donating. Or if you're broke, a language I don't speak, if you are broke, I don't speak broke, remember that, chat. If you're broke, you can also hit the like button over on YouTube, which is completely free. Completely free. And helps me a lot more than you even think. It's not an empty, hollow show of support. YouTube actually boosts my content when you do that, so it's actually pretty based when you do it. I appreciate that. All right. It's time to get right into the news. Don't give me a pop-up New York Times. Be cool. All right, chat. You guys know what to do when I say action, right? All right, guys. 3, 2, 1, action. Oh boy, this is possibly the funniest news I've seen today. FBI executes search warrant at Trump's Mar-a-Lago in document investigation. Let me remind you all, by the way, I am a true, genuine Florida man. I come from Florida. I have seen Mar-a-Lago in person many times driving down the road in that area of Florida. It is, I mean, not a bad looking place, but I mean, it's just a shining beacon of, wealthy opulence. It's just sort of a real. When you drive around the area that Mar-a-Lago is in, you can also drive like literally 10 minutes south to like literal neighborhoods where the average family income is probably 10K. And what always stood out to me, even when I wasn't very like woke, so to say, was the very, very broad comparison, or not comparison, the very stark comparison, between one neighborhood and fucking Mar-a-Lago. Now, of course, I never knew that Mar-a-Lago belonged to Trump or that he had any part to do with it, or frankly, really who Trump was beyond, basic pop culture icon stuff prior to 2016, the election and all that. But, I think it's a pretty good visual representation of some pretty big problems with, like, American wealth. Regardless, though, what really matters when it comes to Mar-a-Lago is who owns it. Donald Trump. Our boy in orange, who I actually got a really good sound clip of a few days ago where he says, we do a little trolling. It's called We Do a Little Trolling. It's actually really, really funny. Just the audio clip alone, no context. I kind of want to make that my new Dono alert sound. I think it'd be really funny. My nose is itching an offending amount, very offensive. The FBI executed a search warrant on Monday at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach, Florida, as part of an investigation into the handling of presidential documents, including classified documents that may have been brought to Florida. 3 people familiar with the situation say. Trump confirmed that FBI agents were at Mar-a-Lago and said they broke into my safe. Whew. They broke in. Wait, hold on. I have to read it in his voice. They even broke into my safe. My beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents, he said in a statement Monday evening. The former president was not in Florida at the time that the search warrant was executed. The search began early Monday morning, and law enforcement personnel appeared to be focused on the area of the club where Trump's offices and personal headquarters are, according to a person familiar with the matter. The Justice Department declined to comment to CNN, as did the White House. A White House official said it was not notified about the search. CNN has reached out to the FBI for comment. The Justice Department has 2 known investigations connected to the former president. One on the effort to overturn the 2020 presidential election, and January 6, 2021. January 6, 2021. And the other involving the handling of classified documents. The National Archives, charged with collecting and sorting presidential material, has previously said at least 15 boxes of White House records were recovered from Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort, including some that were classified. In April and May, aides to Trump at Mar-a-Lago were interviewed by the FBI as part of the probe into handling a presidential record. According to a source familiar with the matter. The story is breaking and will be updated. Oh boy. Now, to be clear, the fact that they have executed a search warrant in Mar-a-Lago, does this not mean that they had some strong cause to do so? Like, strong evidence that they would actually find incriminating material on Trump's property? Because raiding Trump's personal residence, I mean, didn't that happen to Rudy Giuliani? How'd that turn out for him? How'd that end up for Rudy Giuliani? I didn't follow that very much. I don't remember. Did he actually end up getting, like, in any trouble for that? Anything ever come up from that? Or was it just a bad look for him and everyone moved on? I'm not sure. I didn't follow that either. Let's check. Rudy Giuliani. Let's see. Is there any news about him? Trump allies, Rudy Giuliani, John Eastman to face Georgia grand jury. Georgia DA rejects Giuliani effort to postpone August 9th grand jury appearance. Giuliani seeks to delay his testimony in Georgia 2020 election probe. Wait. Medical procedure prevents travel to testify in Georgia. Oh, shit. Wait. Wait, this is such... Wait, why isn't anybody covering this? This is so good to include in this segment. Look at this. This is perfect, chat. Literally 6 hours ago, Georgia DA rejects Giuliani's effort to postpone August 9th grand jury appearance. 8 hours ago, medical procedure prevents travel to Giuliani to travel to Georgia. He tried to fake a fucking medical issue to get out of testifying. Oh my god. He literally pulled the, I'm really sick, I can't come to school today, teacher. And the teacher's like, bruh, I know Elden Ring came out today. Get your ass to school. He literally did that. How many teachers do you think called their students out on that? Like, I know Elden Ring came out today. You're coming to school. You're not sick. Christ. Jesus. Okay, what else? Is there any other good news on this? Oh, this was updated live 7 minutes ago. I love live news. We are receiving some images from the search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Palm Beach, Florida. Armed Secret Service agents were seen standing outside an entrance to the former president's home late Monday. Police have also been seen directing traffic outside one entrance to the estate. We can go ahead and check these out. So these are images of the Secret Service and the police outside. And I presume it's the FBI inside the building. When was this updated? 9 minutes ago. That's from 9 minutes ago. Jesus. Classified material found in 15 boxes. This was updated 16 minutes ago. The search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago home appears to have been related to an investigation into the former president's unlawful taking White House classified documents with him to his residence after his presidency. I genuinely feel like Donald Trump would, like, what documents would Donald Trump hang on? I guess there'd be stuff that he'd want to hang on to, theoretically. I was about to say, this feels like that one NBA player who went to went like out of the country and went to a country where I forget where it was like Russia or something, went to a country where they criminalize having drugs, and they had like one weed pod on them, like one cart, just like they literally had one cart like what I have now. And I think that, yeah, it was Russia, and now they're in a fucking Russian gulag or something. And I believe Biden's trying to trade like a wanted arms dealer or something for that American citizen that got taken. Yeah, we traded a war criminal. Yeah, like some arms dealer war criminal type, yeah. Or last I heard, Biden was trying to trade like some arms dealer war criminal. I don't know if the prisoner trade went through. Did it? Good trade. Possibly one of the best trade deals in the history of trade deals. Actually, well, I mean, yeah. fuck. I mean, we gave Russia. Wait, hold on. Were we extraditing a criminal that someone they consider a criminal to them? Or were we giving them one of their guys who's a war criminal who's going to go back and be, greeted as a hero? Because it matters. It does. But I was about to say, imagine if it was like that, where he just kind of forgot some documents in his suitcase, rode like his helicopter back to Florida, realized that they were still there when he got back to Mar-a-Lago, and was like, I don't feel like flying all the way back up to Virginia, or up to DC. I'll just leave this in my desk. Who cares? Um, Federal law bars removal of classified documents to unauthorized locations, though it is possible that Donald Trump could try to argue that, as president, he was the ultimate declassification authority. Oh my god, what if he actually tries to do that? What if he says, I declassified these documents the instant I left the White House? Mr. President, these documents confirm the existence of aliens. Are you sure that you really meant to declassify these? Yes. Imagine though. Listen, you know that America has no idea if aliens are real, America has no idea. Trump would have let it split. Trump would have let it slip. Trump would have, at the very least, during his run, he would have been like, if you vote for me and I win, and I get a second term, I will tell you whether or not aliens are real, and I will tell you I will declassify all the documents. If he actually had anything to provide, he would have done that. He would have stooped that low as to dangle the possibility of aliens to the American people. He would have done that shit if he even had anywhere close to enough of anything to bluff with on that. That's what makes me confident America does not have a fucking hint about aliens. At least if they do, then it's not on the president's level, because Trump would not keep that to himself. Aliens are real, they just ain't coming this way. I'm personally of the belief the universe is probably just so massive that there is some kind of alien life out there that is, come about, whether it be intelligent or somewhere between us and amoeba. It's up in the air, but I don't think they've come here or anywhere nearby, and certainly I don't think they've attained a level of technology that allows them to see or visit us. No stun locking, though. U.S. officials surprised by search reports. The news that the FBI executed a search on Trump's home has come as a surprise to many U.S. officials. Many of Trump's advisors have said they are unclear exactly why the search warrant was issued, according to the New York Times. President Biden's top aides found out about the search from reports on Twitter and had no advance notice. A Democratic source familiar with the matter told the newspaper. Senior White House officials said they only saw the news via former President Trump's statement. So you guys have to remember, the way that our government functions is there's always a worry when you build a government, right? That if you allow power to be consolidated too strongly in one place, then you can't have a system of checks and balances. No one checks one guy and that guy gets checked by someone else and that guy's getting checked by the other guy. You don't really get a sort of forced system of integrity, at least some level of integrity, if all the power is consolidated in a government, right? So we've got three branches of our government, and obviously the FBI is controlled as its own sector, separate from, say, the White House, which is obviously separate from the FBI, which is why many of these White House officials had no idea that the FBI was about to raid Mar-a-Lago, the home of the former president, because the FBI has been doing their own process, their own investigation, their own whole thing, and that's behind closed doors. They decide to make that public when they do. There's no requirement for the FBI to as far as I know, No requirement for the FBI to let the whole White House know that they're about to investigate a public official. If there was, then you'd think you'd be seeing a lot more about it right now, wouldn't you? Trump's statement in full. Oh, good. Love to see this. These are dark times for our nation, as my beautiful home, Mar-a-Lago, in Palm Beach, Florida, is currently under siege, raided, and occupied by a large group of FBI agents. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before. After working and cooperating with the relevant governmental agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024, especially based on recent polls, and who will likewise do anything to stop Republicans and conservatives in the upcoming midterm elections. Such an assault could only take place in broken third world countries. Sadly, America has now become one of those countries, corrupt at a level not seen before. They even broke into my safe. What is the difference between this and Watergate, where operatives broke into the Democrat National Committee? Here, in reverse, Democrats broke into the home of the 45th President of the United States. The political persecution of President Donald J. Trump has been going on for years, with the now fully debunked Russia scam, impeachment hoax number 1, impeachment hoax number 2, and so much more. It just never ends. It is political targeting at the highest level. Hillary Clinton was allowed to delete and acid wash 33,000 emails after they were subpoenaed by Congress. Absolutely nothing has happened to hold her accountable. She even took antique furniture and other items from the White House. I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we have never, ever seen before. The establishment hated it. Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls, they are trying to stop me. And the Republican Party once more. The lawlessness, the political persecution, and the witch hunt must be exposed and stopped. I will continue to fight for the great American people. Jesus Christ. My man went full, like, what was it? Revenge of the Sith. Like, Emperor speech there. Okay, so for one, the comparison to Watergate is just hysterical. Absolutely fucking hysterical. Holy fucking shit. Because, let's be real, Donald Trump's actions, this is the most comparable scandal, well, Donald Trump's behavior have led the most comparable scandals to Watergate we've seen in a very long time. That's generally, like, the go-to, like, Democrat comparison, like, Donald Trump and his scandals are the next Watergate, right? And yet Donald Trump is now trying to claim that his persecution is on par with Watergate? The fuck? Not only that, but we get the classic emails. Hillary Clinton's acid washed all of those emails. This is political persecution against me. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? This is true. Zan's hands are too big to be Trump. Listen, we'll work on it, okay? You gotta have big hands for fingering pussy well. Anyway, with that said, he also goes on to talk about how he is being prosecuted. I like this segment here. Let me reread this in a very good, you guys claim to be very good Trump impression, because I want to particularly hammer home this point.
I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. I restored power to the people and truly delivered for our country like we've never seen before. The establishment hated it.
So let's break this down really quick. So first, I stood up to America's bureaucratic corruption. This is basically trying to appeal to a lot of different types of American political people, right? Because this can appeal to your average, like, conservative who's, like, tired of the Democratic establishment, but it can also kind of appeal to your average Nazi who's tired of the fucking Jews controlling the establishment. But it can also speak to, ironically enough, some lefties who are tired of the establishment, period. Like, just period. The whole system of controlled opposition and constantly just money in politics and nothing really typically working out in a very democratic way when it is meant to or claims to be meant to, right? That kind of messaging, the really like anti establishment messaging has such broad appeal, and what's scary about it is that a lot of people that get appealed to by that kind of messaging, I've found, they're just not very good at figuring out whether or not the person who is spouting that type of messaging is actually, like, based or cringe, because there's a very fine line when it comes to people that talk this way between based and cringe. And not a lot of people are very good at telling who's crossing the line between based and cringe there. So you have to be very, very careful. A lot of people genuinely believed, I'm not kidding, by the way, there were tons of people back in 2016, and even after Trump got elected, even after Trump initially banned trans people from the military, one of his first, like, civil rights things that he did in office, even after that, there were people who genuinely argued Trump was more left-wing than Hillary Clinton. Sure about that? Or do you think a whole bunch of people maybe got fooled by his anti-establishment messaging, and when they heard him lambasting the Democrats, they assumed he was lambasting them for not going hard enough against the Republicans, not going hard enough against corporate interest and so on and so forth. That appealed to them. But then you realize Donald Trump's a lying businessman, and he knows exactly how to make people like what he says. Say what you want. As poor of a speaker as you might think Donald Trump is, there's a reason why hordes of people come out to hear him speak. He is a good public speaker. He is. He just is. That is good public speaking. If you can get a crowd of people to scream your name and cheer like that, you're a good public speaker. It's just the type of people that he appeals to are, well, they just have a different set of priorities than the average viewer of mine, I guess. I want to continue on, though.
Now, as they watch my endorsed candidates win big victories and see my dominance in all polls, they're trying to stop me and the Republican Party once more.
This is clearly indicating Donald Trump plans to run in 2024. Obviously, I think we all kind of felt and kind of knew he was going to run in 2024. This is him basically setting up what I think is going to be his strategy for his run in 2024. He is going to be the persecuted martyr who fixed the economy and made everything great, but then got attacked and ruined by the left and is now coming back from the ashes. That is going to be the way the right tries to portray Trump. That's going to be the way he's going to try to market himself when he runs. After leaving the White House, Donald Trump moved into his Mar-a-Lago estate in the exclusive Florida enclave of Palm Beach. During his presidency, Mar-a-Lago is known as Trump's Winter White House. Trump and his wife Melania returned to the Florida resort after leaving Washington, and since then the president made it the center of his political dealings. The FBI reportedly executed a search warrant at the residence around 6 p.m. Eastern Time, which appears to have been related to an investigation into Trump unlawfully taking White House documents with him to the property after his presidency, according to the source familiar with the matter. Good God. Whew. What could he have possibly taken? I'm really curious to find out. Because if he does actually try to save himself by like declassifying those documents retroactively, if that's even possible, then we're gonna find out because it'll be declassified. And there's a website you can go to see all of the government's declassified documents. You guys know that, right? Like, we'll find out what it is that he had if he does try to save himself by declassifying those documents in some loophole retroactive way to save himself from charges. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure they'll just end up becoming public. Ayo, the cat is licking itself. What a good baby. Oh, you can't see her. Oh, you're being robbed. Oh, yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. She knows how to lick. Zan, we have a mirror? Well, I can't see how big my screen is on your screen. My camera is literally just like this big on my screen, so I really can't see much of the detail on my camera. So I can't see like how much of Luna you guys can actually see, but there she is. She uses her little hands. She likes to use her little hands while she cleans herself. It's really cute. She looks at herself in the mirror while she bathes. That's where she does her makeup every morning. She's a very pretty baby. Luna is so cute. Why? She's just very good baby. She's just very, very good. She's very clean. Happy International Cat Day. Is it really International Cat Day? I didn't know that. That the cat was cleaned 5 minutes ago. Now she's on vacation. Oh yeah, she's just clean. Cats just like to get bored and clean themselves. It's funny. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like. It helps the channel out a lot, whether you're watching live or you're watching after the fact. And of course, if you want to see more from me here on YouTube, then you can subscribe, ring the bell icon, or even turn on notifications so YouTube does actually tell you when I go live or upload a new video. You can also follow all of my social media to see all of my other crazy shit that I do on the internet. Link down in the description down below. There's my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok, and even my fan Discord. I highly recommend that you join those. They're pretty cool, especially my Twitter. My Twitter's pretty awesome. And besides that, you can also come to my website, xanderhall.com/live, which is where the chat that you see on screen right there is, the real chat, where the real fans are. And you can also come here and support me financially if you wish. You can gift a sub, donate, or even subscribe for yourself. Hell, you can even support me for totally free over on YouTube or financially as well through, the join button to become a channel member, or you can just super chat or super sticker. You can also support me through through Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. Links, of course, are all in the description, and every single one of you who supports me, regardless of how that may be, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. I really do need to get a haircut and pre-record a scripted outro to do for every single segment, because I'm really bad at repeating that outro every single time without fucking it up. You'd think after this many times I would have gotten it down, but every single time I fuck it up. Thank you, Aura's Whisper. You should come to the website though, because that's where all the where all the real shit happens. One Piece 34, thank you for the $5 donation. I appreciate that. Thank you. That puts us up to $10 in the Dono Reno goal. I have a feeling we aren't gonna make a lot of donos today. Another Ratchet and Clank being Left Wing Part 2. That is a purple link, my friend. 253 start and end at 358. Also, Ratchet and Clank came out in 2002, and it is a 20 years old this year. God damn, that's an old game.
Aren't you on one?
Wait, you showed me this clip, my friend. One Piece, you showed me this clip. It was purple, and I've seen it. I've seen it! It's the one with the plumber that can't get on board the ship to go to the moon because Elon Musk is only letting the rich people onto the fucking moon. And the world's ending. It's literally just Nope, I got a different... Okay, it's purple link, my friend.
Dad blast!
Stop it! Oh, so loud. God, that blew my eardrums out.
Dad!
No! Oh god, it almost blew my eardrums out again. Oh, Jesus. YouTube's really gotta fix their bullshit, guys. I don't know if it's just me, or if you guys have experienced it too, but, like, YouTube breaks for me. Like, I will start a video, I will pause it, and then I will press play 5 minutes later, and it will just skip to a random point in the video randomly for no reason. And then I'll rewind it back to the beginning and press play, and it'll skip back to that same spot for no reason. I genuinely don't know what's going on, but it is quite frustrating. Alright. I will watch the clips. This is from... Oh, I'm going to 253... 253 to 358. All right. This is apparently
Hello,
based.
citizens of my race, the blog, have a small problem. Our planet has become so polluted, overpopulated, and poisonous that we are no longer able to dwell here. But I, Chairman Drek, have a solution. We are constructing a pristine new world using the choicest planetary components available. So, what does this mean to you, you might ask? Using highly sophisticated technology, which you couldn't possibly understand, we will be extracting a
Elon
large
Musk
portion
moment.
of your planet and adding it to our new one. Unfortunately, this change in mass will cause your planet to spin out of control and drift into the sun, where it will explode into a flaming ball of gas. But, of course, sacrifices must be made. Thank you for your cooperation. And if you don't like it, you can take your whiny, sniveling, snot-nosed populations, form a line behind me, and kiss my... We're still on? Well, turn it off, you idiot!
Literally, when Paul Joseph Watson went mask off. True. 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 Very true. Very good meme. I appreciate that, One Piece. And if you would like to donate a video to me as well, then you can do so. Zan, did you see that Hassan hit 1 million subs? Yeah, I'm going to be right behind him. Don't you worry. I'm gonna be right behind that fucking LA bastard. That obnoxious LA motherfucker. You better believe it. We're getting him. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get to 1 million before him. We're gonna get to 1 billion before him. You better believe it. I'm gonna have a Zandillion subscribers. It's gonna be so many subscribers, they're gonna have to invent a new word for it. Because there's not gonna be a word for that number, and they're gonna have to call it a Zandillion. Alright? I'm gonna have a Zandillion subscribers. And you guys will be able to say you were here before 1 trillion subs. Mark my words, in 10 days, Xanderhall will have 1 more billion subs. It's possible. If you subscribe and you like the stream, then yes, I will. I promise. It's true. You can't disprove that. Hold on a moment, chat. Yeah, let's erase that. Yeah, erase that. We just did that segment. Erase that off the whiteboard. It feels good. I've been writing down topics that I want to cover on this whiteboard. And as I go through the stream and we cover them, I get to erase them. And watch as the things I set to cover today slowly get ground away. Speaking of which, why is Windows deactivated? I came so close to activating Windows last night. I came so close. I was in a call with Ethan, and I was helping him mod Fallout New Vegas. And we literally talked about him helping me fix it, that it would only take a few seconds, but I decided that we should wait and do it after he's finished modding Fallout New Vegas, but then he immediately jumped into the game, and we totally forgot, and I still haven't activated Windows. But he has a way to do it for completely free. Activate Windows, go to settings to activate Windows, yes, please. Go to settings to activate Windows, guys. Where are people seeing that Windows isn't activated? You won't see it right now, it's when the screen is showing. fools, you never finish modding Fallout New Vegas. No, we finished modding it, and I think we got a pretty good thing going. I still have my activate Windows. It's been 2 years, and I'm not changing it. Well, I'm awaiting getting that removed. I'd like to have it gone. Do I have to inactivate Windows? Sometimes. Obama did 9/11? Yeah, why didn't Obama stop 9/11? Tell me. Why not? Where was he? Reza Sutra, thank you for the tier 1 gifted sub to Transgal. I really appreciate that. Very based and kind of you. Very, poggers. Put your pogs in the chat, guys. Put your fucking pogs in the chat right now. I want you to show me your pogs. Put your pogs in the chat. When someone donates, you put your fucking pogs in the chat, okay? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I like to see. I like to see the pogs in the chat. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. You put those pogs in the fucking chat. That's what I like to see. Good. Thank you, by the way. I'm going to update the donut goal really fast. $15. I could buy, like, something with that, I'm sure. Well, you guys are in for a treat. Oh my god. Alright, guys. You know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Holy fucking shit. I knew this guy was a grifter, and I knew he was shameless, but... Oh my god. This guy's desperate for money. Holy fucking shit. Look how shameless this is. How many shorts is this in one day? Oh my god. Okay, this is the first 1 day ago. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shorts in 1 day. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos in 1 day. 5 shorts and 6 videos in 1 day. When your content is this hollow and lacking of any genuine message or anything to really get from it, you're able to produce content at this sheer quantity. It's just... Let me actually tell you guys something. Back in the day, I used to be a fan of a little game called Pokemon Go. I got onto the train a little bit late because when the game came out, my phone had been broken by a coworker of mine. I was working as a lifeguard and I was 16 years old at the time, so I wasn't able to get into Pokemon Go until a few weeks after the game actually came out. But when it did come out, I was super into that shit, and I was always playing it. I was running around the neighborhood playing it. I was at, like, my job. When I'd be, like, on my break, I'd finish my lunch and I'd walk around the whole park, because there were, like, 4 Pokestops and a gym there, so it was really, really high concentration of activity there. Lots of Pokemon to catch, lots of Pokestops to spin, stuff like that, right? I was super into the game. I was 16 years old. And part of being into a game, for me, is getting into content creators about, a video game that I like. And the content creator that really just ended up falling into my lap, I guess you could say, that I ended up watching a lot of when I was a young, naive 16-year-old, was a YouTuber that went by the name of FSU ATL. Most of you probably aren't familiar with him, but this guy was actually, like, pretty big on YouTube back in 2016, back during the Pokemon Go era, and this guy would upload, if I remember correctly, like 4 videos a day about Pokemon Go, and it would literally just be him rambling about the same things, like speculating on when and what Pokemon might be added to the game in the future. But the thumbnails and the titles of the video would be like, I don't know, Mewtwo confirmed coming on New Year's Eve, Times Square. And the video is actually him, like, theorizing about you know, if they're going to add Mewtwo at the end of the year, and if it's going to, all that kind of stuff. And of course it didn't happen. It was always clickbait, but this guy would just pump out like 3 videos per day, so clickbaity and so shameless, and I was too young at the time to understand that I was being taken advantage of. This content was not providing any enriching value to me. I was clicking these videos in hopes that one of them was actually going to end up turning up some actual info about a true, real update coming to the game, but instead it was just a grifter that was taking advantage of a popular game, pumping out non-stop videos, taking advantage of the YouTube algorithm daily, multiple times a day, that really had no reason to exist. They were just clickbait, empty nonsense, and profiting off of it. And I'm sorry, but if you are a Quartering fan and you are watching this content, you are no different than 16-year-old me. You are doing nothing but watching this empty, hollow content that was made by a neckbeard in his basement for no other reason than to farm clout and money off of your viewership, and you're completely falling into his hands. Nothing that he's saying here is like worthwhile political commentary. This is a guy who's ran with his tail between his legs from debates with me to Destiny to Vosh to plenty of other content creators. This guy is a fucking pussy. I'm sorry, but he doesn't stand for anything. The only thing he stands for is his wallet. And frankly, he sits for his wallet because that he streams. He sits in front of a fucking camera. So he doesn't even need to stand up to work. Now, the reason why I wanted to cover TheQuartering video is because he recently put out a video. God, I have to scroll back so far because this guy uploads so much. It's like, oh, he put out a video a few days ago. Let me scroll down for 5 minutes till I find that video. I'm going to be better off just searching the topic. He recently put out a video called GTA 6 Gets Woke and Cuts Offensive Jokes. First female protagonist in history to Grand Theft Auto 6. So I think you can see where this is going, guys. I guess there was some leak or rumor or just something along those lines that implies or claims, I haven't even kept up with it, that GTA 6 is going to feature a female protagonist. A Womexan protagonist. I know. How fucking horrible. How could they make video games political like this? And I think predictably, you know, TheQuartering was going to get mad about this. Remember, these guys claim nonstop that it's not diversity that upsets them, it is forcing politics into media. The problem is, functionally, they're just saying that to get out of criticism and away from accusations of being racist or sexist or what have you. Because, well, if you ask someone like this, can you give me an example of non-woke, non-political, not forced diversity in recent media? I don't think they'd be able to name anything. I really don't think they'd be able to. Like, the only examples they tend to bring up are examples from movies that are like 30 years old. Like, they'll bring up Ripley from Alien, or they'll bring up Sarah Connor, or they'll bring up, like, I don't know, I can't even think, like, Angelina Jolie's Laura Croft character, or something. Like, I don't fucking know. They'll bring up, like, characters from 90s movies and stuff, or 80s movies, and it's like, so you don't believe that any inclusive media since the 90s has been non-woke? It's very bizarre. In reality, what the real problem is, well, let's make it very clear. I don't actually think that TheQuartering is mad about diversity in anything. I'm gonna say it. TheQuartering is too much of a grifter to care about any of this stuff. He knows what gets him clicks. He knows what makes him money. He's farming and milking you for cash, and, well, he's not exactly shameless or shameful about it. He kind of makes jokes about it in his videos, too. I don't really think his fans are... I think his fans kind of know, but at the same time, to them, it's just, I don't care. I just want to hear my opinions regurgitated into my mouth like a baby bird. Yeah, I just want to have TheQuartering vomit my own opinions in a more messy, disjointed, and shitty way back into my own mouth so that I can just stay in my little echo chamber like a little bitch baby piss boy and, never actually engage with new ideas. That's the average viewer of this guy. It's true.
Who doesn't love a little bit of the
Modern times.
infecting our video game culture?
Oh shit, how'd he do that? Do I need to get a soundboard so I can do that? Holy fuck. I don't even need to edit. Cherry wouldn't even need to edit anything. I'd just be able to click a button. I had to get something like that. I'm shit with audio stuff, though. I need to get someone that actually knows how to do that to help me.
I understand times change, people change, and having a female protagonist is what all of the lunatics will take from this video. Like, oh, TheQuartering's complaining about Grand Theft Auto getting woke because of a woman. No.
So, to be clear, by the way, regardless of what TheQuartering actually complains about in this video, the vast majority of the people watching this video and agreeing with it, specifically, or at least watching it with the intent to just hear their opinion regurgitated and everything, absolutely take issue with the concept of a woman being the main character. That alone. I will never, ever, ever, ever believe these Gamergate dumbfucks when they say they don't actually care about the identity of the characters they play as, or frankly, the identity of the characters that are in these games. Because if you literally go back to the announcement, the announcement of The Last of Us 2, when they first showed that Ellie kissed her girlfriend in that trailer, the videos that flooded YouTube about how Naughty Dog went woke and how this is absurd were fucking insane. You think the craze and the insanity that was had over the golf club thing and Joel getting his brains fucking beaten out was bad? Oh my god. The anger over the lesbian kiss in the trailer between Dina and Ellie made people fucking... their heads exploded. There was a full-on, culture war on Twitter where you had people making their headline banner on Twitter, that screenshot of Ellie and Dina kissing, and then you also had, conservatives screaming about how Naughty Dog has fallen to the wokeness. Now, of course, The Last of Us 2 to this day is, a pretty divisive game. Now, it's not really for any reasons that have to do with wokeness. I'd say it's more so for story reasons. They probably should have made it so you could choose whether or not you kill Abby at the end of the game. I would have preferred that personally. Granted, I only watched a Let's Play of the game, but if I'd played through the whole game myself, I feel like I would have liked to have the choice. But Naughty Dog, they're the writers. They get to make the decision on how the game ends. And it seems like they wanted to set it up for a third installment, so who am I to say no? Anyway, the right got really mad about that game simply because of the presence of non-straight white male characters in it, and they claimed their very presence, and I'll admit there's a bit of a spotlight on their presence, though I don't really think it's a bad thing. They claim that there being a spotlight on the presence of a same-sex relationship in the game was in some way indicative of the idea that the writers of the game were forgoing good writing and making a good game, and instead were just going to virtue signal and just kind of cruise on the concept of the game being woke and selling it to a woke audience instead of making a good game. That's more or less, even if they don't outright say it, sort of the implication of their arguments, that in order to include progressive messaging in a game, or even just have diversity, this means that in some way the game must be compromised. Some compromise must have been made to the game's quality to include these progressive elements. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't hold together logically, but that's how these people think. They feel as though the games they enjoy are actually losing some value of enjoyment, some enjoyment value, just because there are progressive messaging in there. And it's not even racism necessarily a lot of the time, racism or sexism. It's not even that. A lot of the people who think like this, I wouldn't even say are necessarily racist or sexist or homophobic. or transphobic. A lot of them are. Don't get me wrong, a lot of them are. But not all of them are. A lot of them are just really fucking dumb, and they're like chuds. They're like the types of people who think, I don't have any problem with gay people as long as they don't do it around me, and they don't quite realize how that could be interpreted as being, you know, an indication that you think gay people are bad or gross or lesser in some way. That kind of guy, you know, like the kind of person that seems like they mean well, but they aren't quite hitting the mark. You know? You guys know what I mean. You guys know exactly what I mean. That type of person. A lot of those people are watching quartering videos. The guy's popular. The guy knows how to game the YouTube algorithm. He's uploading this much for a reason. Me and my editor are fucking pushing to upload 2 times a day. This guy must have 3 editors. Well, I guess he doesn't stream. He can just sit down on his computer and just rant into the camera and then upload it as a pre-recorded segment. So I guess that does help with the upload frequency. But regardless, I mean, the guy's fucking pumping content out. A lot of people are watching him, and the vast majority of them are not just far-right lunatics. The majority of people that are watching this guy are just chuddy teenage gamer bros who think that their video games are getting worse because game development, like game studios, are focusing more on making gay characters and women characters and black characters instead of making good games. When in reality, if you actually want to look at what's really making video games bad now, it's the fact that more and more we're seeing these massive game publishers swallow up small studios and beloved studios and force their own artistic vision, which typically revolves around making more money, onto those games, and in many cases destroying the reputation of beloved franchises. How about we talk about publishers putting required due dates on game development, which results in games getting released after months and months of crunch time with shit tons of bugs, requiring patches for months before it's even playable. Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, that's crunch culture. Yeah. Large part of why I love Hytale, by the way, is because none of these things are going to be issues with this game, because Riot is not imposing their will on Hypixel Studios, so they don't have an issue to worry about with their publisher kind of fucking up the game's vision. And not only that, but they do not have a set due date. The game will come out when it is fucking done. Pretty rare for the gaming industry nowadays. And yet, for some reason, people get mad whenever they announce the game's going to get delayed because they're making it better. And then they say, this is going to be just like Cyberpunk, because they're delaying the game to finish it instead of releasing it unfinished. Apparently. I don't know. Listen, I could rant about that all day. We need to not get stunlocked, or we will never, ever get back.
No. I actually don't care about that at all. Lots of women play GTA, and for women to have playable character, I think that's awesome. I, for one, am looking forward to female characters sticking it to all the corner workers and spending some time in cars with them and all that. I think that's going to be exciting. Seeing all the various fashion options my fellow gamers will apply to the female
Bro. So, I feel it might be necessary to point out that the only time I have ever seen TheQuartering approve of women existing in media is when they are hypersexualized. I did forget. You know what? I take back what I said before. I take back what I said before about TheQuartering and people like him not having any examples of, say, a strong female character that they like in modern day. There's plenty of strong female characters I bet they like. I bet they love, what's her name? From Bayonetta. I bet they love Bayonetta. I bet they love Lara Croft, you know? I bet they love a certain type of Overwatch content. You know what I'm saying? I bet they love a certain type of Overwatch content. Oh yeah, they're big fans of Widowmaker. Diva? Oh, they love those characters. They love those characters They keep those characters so close to their chests, close to their hearts. No, in all seriousness, these dudes legitimately don't see any value in... Okay, this is both true of real life and in media. This includes video games. Dudes, and I'm speaking generally here, dudes like this don't think women have any intrinsic value outside of sex object or trad wife or mother. If you're not one of those three things, if you're not a baby market, a trad wife, like, you know, homemaker, or a sex object, you are pointless to these types of dudes. Your existence is meaningless. You're not allowed to just, like, be a female character who just exists. You're not allowed to be like a trans character that just exists. You're not allowed to be a gay character that just exists. You're not allowed to be a black character that just exists. It's not allowed. You have to, at least in his eye, I would bet, you would have to have a good reason to be there. I've unironically heard that before. I've unironically heard conservatives argue, or not conservatives, chuds, people like TheQuartering. I think I've heard TheQuartering himself argue this, that if you're going to have a gay or a trans character in a piece of media, there has to be a good reason for it. And it's like, does there have to be a good reason for a character to be straight, white, or male? Like, why can't they just be that? Just because that's their character, just cuz. Why not? And when you really think about it long enough, you realize it's because they inherently see LGBT people, or insert whatever marginalized group you want to, as being lesser.
Playable characters, I think, is great. 100% no problem.
Also, what he's doing here is he's going, oh, I'm really excited to see the outfits, because, you know, in GTA 5, at least, you can you can go into a lot of detail to, you know, dress how you like. You do hair, makeup, clothes, like all that kind of shit, right? So right now he's suggesting that if there's a female playable character in GTA 6, that he's excited to see all of the very, no doubt, sexualizing outfits that character would be put in by other players. So that he's making, he's joking about when, yeah, that's his go-to. Yeah.
Problem with it, especially if it's organic. But it's the other stuff that they're already doing. Scaling back jokes. Oh my god. Thank goodness in a game where you end up, you know, fighting against a local PD and getting a star.
Hey guys, I want to remind you, by the way, remember back when these guys were arguing, back during Gamergate, when these guys were arguing, if you want to make woke games, then make your own games. They'd respond to the BuzzFeed videos, or the BuzzFeed articles, and the lefty videos, and all of that. They'd respond to anything that criticized currently existing games for not being progressive enough or not having enough representation. Their response to that criticism was always, if you want more progressive games, make your own games. Just make your own games. I have a feeling it wasn't about needing to make their own games. I have a feeling it was always about being against the inclusion and diversity in the media they consume. That's the one common factor.
Our level, because of how many of them you explodiate. Thank goodness there aren't any crass jokes in it. And this is only the beginning. Like, it's literally getting woke. And we're going to get right into that after a quick word from this video.
Oh, good. He's doing a sponsor. Gotta rake in the money. Jesus Christ. Oh, good. You can see he's wearing completely different clothes in his sponsored segment. How much of this video is sponsored? It's 10 minutes long. Oh my god. The video's 10 minutes long, and like a minute and a half of it is sponsored. And he uploads 6 videos a day and like 5 shorts a day. Probably 6 videos and 6 shorts a day, because it's not even the end of the day yet. Oh my god. Oh, good god, this guy is just raking in the fucking dough. If you are a viewer of this guy, you are getting milked fucking dry. You are a sucker. You are paying for this guy's retirement, his vacation house. Good god. Imagine cucking yourself this hard to make some loser living in his basement wealthy.
Everybody wins. Hey, I know you might not be in the market right this second, but keep that promo code in your back pocket. You can save some money. They're the tower that I use. They're the laptop that I use. And they're the ones that I recommend to friends and family. And I don't get paid to do that.
Oh my god, it's still going.
Hey, blue hairs, all right?
Oh, he's talking about the blue hairs, guys.
The laptop that I use. And they're the ones that I recommend to friends and family. And I don't get paid to do that. But I do really appreciate their company. Now, Grand Theft Auto 6 to have a female hero. Also, like I said, fine, okay, blue hairs, all right? Half-shaved head people. I don't care about that. Scale back spicy jokes. And then they're like, what? You can't enjoy? This is what... Now, I'm going to tell you, if you point this out...
Wait, one thing that I can never respect about people like this is because of their desire to make their content as advertiser-friendly as possible so they can make as much money as possible, because people like this are only in it for the money. Like, they won't even be honest in what they're responding to. They're scaling back spicy jokes. He won't even say racist or sexist jokes, which is what Rockstar said. When Rockstar comes out and says, we're going to be scaling back racist and sexist jokes, and they specify racist and sexist jokes in their statement, TheQuartering interprets that as, oh, they're just removing some spicy humor. They're going to cutesy it down. It's like, okay, GTA's been known for having some stuff in it in the past that maybe wouldn't fly so well culturally nowadays. Now, conservatives are, well, it's in their name, aren't they? Or isn't it? They're basically just conceptually against the idea of society progressing forward. The idea of certain behaviors or certain bigotries becoming less socially acceptable, there being, social consequences for their beliefs and for their actions and for what they say, that's the worst thing ever for them. Because they know that they don't actually have any real risk of losing their freedom of speech. When they say they're losing their freedom of speech, they're just bluffing. They're trying to martyr themselves. They have all the freedom of speech in the world. What they're really losing are their platforms, and it's only when they're not careful enough about it. This guy still hasn't lost his platform, and yet he's gone on many rants about how LGBT people are groomers and whatnot. And YouTube definitely considers that hate speech. They don't care. This guy's making him a lot of money, and he knows that YouTube doesn't care, and yet he'll keep claiming that he's on the edge of getting banned by YouTube, as he has been for the last 3 years. TheQuartering has literally said in numerous videos of the last 3 years that he's going to get banned from YouTube any day. So make sure to subscribe and watch his content, because who knows when YouTube's going to take him down. He literally plays into that whole, like, oh, they're going to get rid of me. I'm just going to be gone one day. The only chance TheQuartering is going anywhere is if he stops making YouTube enough money for them to see it as profitable, for them to have literal anti-LGBT and just generally, like, hate fuel content on their platform. YouTube doesn't actually care about this as long as it's making them money. Now, as for them toning back the jokes, if you are genuinely upset about this, I can kind of understand it. A lot of GTA's appeal, story-wise, if you're like a fan of the campaign like I am, at least when I played GTA 5, for me, was the satire. And it was very obviously satire. Obviously, a lot of people, pose law is a thing. And it's very, very, very real. A lot of people just don't recognize satire when they see it. They take it seriously and perhaps even emulate it and agree with it when you're meant to laugh at it and be like, wow, that's so crazy. I can't believe people think like that. GTA 5 has a lot of satire. All the GTA games do. And I would certainly be upset if some of the more edgy satire was absent from the next GTA game. It would certainly feel much less GTA-y to me. Like, a big part of the Grand Theft Auto games is the irreverent satire of modern culture. And, there is no reason to assume that Rockstar is going to put out a stinker here. All right? Red Dead Redemption 2 was a masterpiece of a game. Nobody could disagree with that. And it came out like 3 years ago. If you think that Rockstar was going woke and was going to ruin all of their future games, then Well, you're literally just pulling this out of your ass. You have no reason to believe it. There's no evidence that Rockstar has gone in any direction that would suggest that their new development strategy is going to result in the worst game. GTA 5 is great. Red Dead Redemption 2 is great. What was the last Rockstar game before that? Probably Red Dead 1. Bully is great. I can't really think of a bad Rockstar game that's come out in my lifetime. So, Red Dead Revolver was great. Was that even Rockstar, though? I don't think Rockstar even made Red Dead Revolver, though. But I played it on PS2.
This is going to be the reaction of people who will gaslight you. What? You can't enjoy your video games without racism? You can't enjoy your video games without sexism? This is how it works, right? And then what do you say?
Well, you're complaining about the artistic decisions being made by the creators of the media. You are no different than the very SJWs, or at least what you called SJWs, that back in the day would complain about lack of diversity in media. You are no different. You are trying to force your ideology and your worldview onto these artists, these creators, and you're basically falling into the same trap that the people you would have called SJWs 5 years ago did. They did indeed make Red Dead Revolver. Oh, well, there you go. Banger after banger after banger after banger. What can I say?
Well, no, I don't need these things, but and then you don't know how to respond. I like my favorite new response is, yeah, be offended.
You know what's crazy? This is actually really funny. We've had such a massive cultural jump since GTA 5 came out. Who remembers when GTA, who was it? GTA, I think it was GTA Vice City, maybe? The one that pissed off Jack Thompson. Or was it GTA 5? I think it was GTA 5 that pissed off Jack Thompson. Yeah, Jack Thompson was mad about GTA 5, wasn't he? When it was first announced? I feel like GTA 5 came out too late, though, for him to have been relevant. Was it a different GTA game he was mad about? Regardless, for those of you who don't remember, Jack Thompson was this conservative Floridian lawyer who fucking despised violent video games. It was GTA 4? I see. He despised violent video games. Very conservative guy, Christian, right-wing kind of guy. And he claimed that they were corrupting children and yada, yada, yada. He ended up getting disbarred. He's a shamed conservative, ex-lawyer now. And he tried to go on this fucking crusade against video games, particularly Grand Theft Auto. And this guy was just the face of it. The face of an entire conservative, like, wine mom movement against violent video games, most notably Grand Theft Auto. And it's so beautiful to watch. Now, over a decade later, as we come full circle, the right-wingers are back to being the prude little pussies complaining about the content of the next GTA game. Because really, I want to ask you, how is this any different than the boomer Republican lawmakers back in the day that would complain about the content of video games corrupting children? How is this any different? The people complaining about the progressive woke messaging in media. It's no different. It's the same shit all over again. They've just managed to repackage it into something that looks a little bit more cooler and edgier than a bunch of simpering little pussies complaining about, oh, but the children, oh, if the children play Call of Duty and they drop a big W in Nuketown, then what if they go to school and then they shoot up the school? It's the same fucking shit, right? And at the end of the day, it always leads back to political motivations, right? At the end of the day, conservatives tried to, pin violent, like things like school shootings on anything from comic books to heavy metal music to violent movies. And now, eventually, violent video games. They've always tried to scapegoat these things for a very obvious reason. It diverts attention from what they consider to be what they don't want people to be focusing on, which is things like, in the case of like school shootings, access to guns. They don't want people to be thinking or talking about that. So they say the real issue are the violent video games. Our kids are getting exposed to violence. It's corrupting them, and it's making them want to do violence in real life. They're just picking up a gun and shooting up their school. And people went with it. And now what's happening? What's happening now? Conservatives are mad about LGBT people existing. So now they're complaining about the existence of gay and trans characters in media, claiming it's corrupting their kids and it's part of an agenda and it's making their kids LGBT because it gives them license to engage in, I guess you could call, hey, little puppy, in what I guess they would consider to be retaliatory political violence against the LGBT community. Because they genuinely consider LGBT people existing publicly and being like allowed to exist and be on TV and like, God forbid, kids to be able to know they exist. They consider that to be violence being done upon them. And you know how conservatives feel about retributive violence, right? That they genuinely believe that LGBT people are a threat to their children. Not only that, but they believe that like abortion doctors and that the people that support abortion, etc., they've been brainwashed into believing that these people are threats to their children, that they are murdering babies. They're being brainwashed into believing that left-wingers and LGBT people, etc., are child raping, baby blood drinking murderers. What do you think the natural conclusion of that kind of rhetoric is? Justification of murder. If you can convince a broader population that a certain political group, or God forbid, a certain minority group, consists of child raping, baby blood drinking, go down the fucking list of things that the conservatives accuse left-wingers of being and LGBT people of being, most people are probably going to be cool with genociding the people they think all do these horrible things. That's how you convince people to be okay with a genocide. Now, I want to be clear here, because I know people like to get mad about this, and they get so triggered. I'm not saying a genocide's happening right now. I'm not even saying a genocide's definitely coming. What I'm telling you right now is getting people to believe that an entire group of people are a bunch of child molesting, murdering, baby blood drinking rapists is probably being done to dehumanize that entire group and open them up to, some bad stuff that for society to be okay with it. Just maybe, don't you think? Maybe it's laying the groundwork just a little bit. I've had a lot of libs get mad whenever a lefty says I think that there might be, at least the right is at least trying to push for a genocide against LGBT people right now. They get really mad about it. But it's true. Hey, Pillow, how you doing?
Don't care. You could see a lot of the replies, too. I'm glad a game where the point is to end the PD and rob banks is cutting back on these jokes.
Yep, can't lose that ad revenue off of your 1 out of literally 12 videos you upload every day, dude. Fucking pussy. I almost want to say a slur right now just so I can lose the monetization on this video for sure, just to show how much more integrity I have in this guy. I almost want to do it, but I won't, because I also want to keep my career.
Next one, which means it'll probably suck. So sad to see Grand Theft.
No, I can't say that when Emu ain't on. I would if I wasn't on Twitch. I would if I wasn't on Twitch. We can't say that slur. That's the worst of them, okay? There's no racial slur worse than that one. The history behind that word, oh my god. I've been to the word I can't say country before. They tell you all about it. I can't believe they banned that word on Twitch. We really are in a fucking different universe. Why is my nose itching so much? I'd like it to stop.
Theft Auto go woke. I was really hoping it would lean to the lunacy of the current clown world and they really have fun with it. I hope they get our pronouns right. I mean, like, prediction, lowest sales of a Rockstar Games GTA game ever. That's not going to happen. GTA 5 is a game that I would really, really love to play.
Hey, at the very least, he's not trying to claim that, at least he's not trying to do the GTA 6 is going to go broke thing. He knows that would be a really dumb thing to say. There's no way GTA 6, like, this would be like saying, let me give you an idea of how stupid it would have been for him to say that GTA 6 is going to do poorly because of this. It would almost be on the tier of saying, if they announced that Half-Life 3 was going to come out and it was going to star what's her name? Alex, Alyx, that character. They made kind of a Half-Life 3 that's like that, but not actually Half-Life 3. If they made a full-on Half-Life 3, but it stars that character, it would be as dumb as if TheQuartering said Half-Life 3 was going to flop because of that. When Half-Life 3 is possibly the most memed and anticipated game of all time. Like, legitimately. I don't think there's a more anticipated game out there other than Half-Life 3. Oh my god, my nose is committing a felony against me right now. Jesus. Oh my lord. You know what I'm doing after stream today? I'm taking a pair of tweezers and I'm plucking every single nose hair I have. All right? I'm going in there and I'm just going to go, and all of it's coming out. Like that scene in SpongeBob where Patrick takes the paintbrush with no hairs on it, and he just sticks up his nose and he twists it and pulls it out, and it's like it's just huge ball of hair. You know, I'm gonna do that though with tweezers. It's gonna look exactly like that.
I downloaded it like forever ago when it was like on super sale from I think Epic Games. It was like free or something like that. I love Grand Theft Auto. And 5 has been out for a bazillion years, but it's also intimidating. Like, I'm like, oh, God, everyone's going to be so much further than me. Like, and I'm getting into a game that's...
Wait, has this motherfucker never played Grand Theft Auto 5? Fake gamer. Dude, let me just say, these dudes have always been fake nerd bros. They're never actually genuine in their claimed fandom. I remember, well, I do have some pretty big disagreements with them. Vadim Newquist, aka Creationist Cat, or formerly Creationist Cat, made a fantastic video responding to TheQuartering, Geeks and Gamers, basically all of those fandom menace types, about the announcement of Thor Love and Thunder and about the storyline of the Mighty Thor, particularly in the comic. Now, regardless of how the Mighty Thor was received, which I actually watched it recently and thought it was not bad. It was like, oh, wait, this is better than the first 2 Thor movies, but it's just not as good as Ragnarok. And like, it's got some of the cringy dialogue every Marvel movie has. Why are people mad about this? Is it really just the CGI being bad that like pushed people over the edge with this movie? And like the CGI wasn't even that bad. I don't know. It was bizarre to me. Like I was so surprised when I watched the movie. Like, when's it gonna get bad? When's it gonna get bad? I feel like this is. Like I was watching the movie like actively, like on the edge of my seat, like I kept on hovering over the time bar. Like it's like when you're watching the finale of a TV show, like the season finale, and you're like looking at the time bar, like how much is there left in the episode? Holy fuck, this is almost over soon. Is there gonna wrap this up? You know, like if you've ever done that, I was doing that, but to check and see, oh fuck. Ugh, my throat just started fucking itching like crazy. I hope I'm not getting COVID. This is usually how my throat feels when I start getting sick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Uh-oh, Pescettios. Let's hope it's just a throat itch and not me getting sick. And God forbid if I do get sick, it's not COVID. I've yet to get COVID, and I don't intend to. I am vaccinated as fuck. Stay safe, Zan. Well, I don't know if I can... Wouldn't it be too late if I did have COVID? I don't know. Let's watch this.
It's like 10 years old. I don't necessarily want to have that much ketchup. But you see, literally, just refresh on my screen. Bloomberg says Grand Theft Auto will have a Latina female character for the first time in series history. This every time they put a woman in a video game, it's like for the first time in history.
Wait, what is he responding to? Going after the blue-haired land whale market at the expense of everyone else who ever bought and enjoyed GTA. Rip GTA. I love... This is literally this man's fan base, by the way. This is literally TheQuartering's fan base. 257 likes. Going after the blue-haired land whale market. Dude. Is it not obvious what kind of audience is mad about this announcement? Is it not obvious what kind of audience is watching TheQuartering's videos? It's people like, can you see this guy? This dude doesn't even look like he has fucking eyebrows. He looks like fucking Voldemort. And his hairline is like half in a, like the, if his eyebrows were the equator, his hairline is like starts at the North Pole. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker looks like he's 16 and 35 at the same time, just from this image alone. And his hairline's receding, and this motherfucker's got the nerve to complain about the blue-haired land whale market. Guys like this are very good at exposing the fact they've never had sex on the internet. Zan bullying arc, I love it. Listen, I'm gonna be honest. The more that I do this job, the less patience I have for these people. Because, like, after you, like, you know, have suspicions, certain suspicions confirmed enough, you start to understand that you're probably right when you get that suspicion. Like, whenever I see a conservative type who's just shit-talking women, real, like, incel tough guy, like, not incel, like, real, like, dude bro tough guy type online, when their face or anything about their private life leaks, they have the most pathetic lives ever. It's just hilarious. They look exactly how you think they'd look every single time. And that's putting aside, like, the very common meme of, like, conservative types that are really, really, really outwardly anti-LGBT. And what ends up getting found out about them a lot of the time behind the scenes.
It's so cringe and dumb. If it fits a story, cool. But we don't need to
Hey.
worship it every single time.
There it is, dude. There has to be a good story reason for a female character to be in a game or a movie or whatever. A good reason for a non-white character. A good story reason for a gay character. You have to have a reason to exist in this media, story-wise, if you are not a straight white male, for it not to be virtue signaling. They consider the existence of anyone who's not a straight white male in their media to be, or at least that has any level of prominence in the story, to be some sort of political statement, or at the very least, like a imposing of their of political beliefs onto them. They literally never care if it fits the story. When it does, they call it woke. Yeah, of course they do. Like, literally the entire story of The Last of Us 2 was about Ellie and Dina and them, like, being together and them trying to protect each other and raise, like, a kid and stuff, and them having a family and all that. That was the driving force behind much of the story of The Last of Us 2. And yet they still got mad about the gay kiss. What's the common variable there? What's the common variable there? Oh, and the character Lev, the trans guy in the game, in The Last of Us 2. I forgot about him. There's a character in The Last of Us 2 named Lev, who's trans. You don't really, like... It's never outright stated. It's heavily... well, it is. It is outright stated, but not initially. You meet Lev, and he's like... I gotta get out of this fucking cult village, okay? You gotta help me out, alright? Get me the fuck out of here. And so Abby's like Kratos and is like, all right, boy, come with me. And you get out of there. And the cult starts hunting you, and they keep referring to Lev by a different name. And they keep misgendering Lev. And it's just like, that's really weird. Strange. Okay, well, I'll just keep on murdering them, I guess. And so you keep on murdering, you just keep on killing, as you want to do in Last of Us 2. Lots of killing in that game. And, eventually, Lev is just like, oh yeah, by the way, I just I don't really know what it is, but I'm trans. That's basically how it's presented. Like, well, there's no biology books or any internet anymore to explain this, but I guess I'm a guy. And Abby's just like, okay, it's the apocalypse. I don't care. Let's go, Lev. It was like very well done, I think. It wasn't like shoehorned into the face of the viewers like, ha, look, we got a trans character, super progressive, super left wing. It was just kind of part of the story in a way that was like believable. Like, yeah, crazy cults, like crazy religious cults in the post-apocalypse wouldn't be big fans of trans kids. And there would still be trans kids in the post-apocalypse. Lev wasn't even marketed, by the way. Well, no, okay. It was announced that there would be a transgender character in The Last of Us 2 prior to it dropping, and then they revealed the character of Abby. People assumed Abby was trans when she's not, and in reality, the trans character was a trans guy who's literally a kid in the game named Lev. So that should really go to show just how good these conservative types, when they drum up these big moral panics over news like this about any game or anything, how bad they are at judging what's going to happen with things like this. You know what? Maybe it might actually be a good idea before you judge a thing to wait for it to come out and to hear what people who've actually played it, or God forbid, play it yourself and then make up your own mind on it. Like, not only is there this big problem with people deciding whether or not they're going to hate a piece of media before it comes out because their favorite YouTuber tells them to, but even afterwards, I feel like right now, whether or not the world likes a movie is determined based on the first initial reaction to it. I feel like if people came out of Infinity War and like the first big public figures to talk about the movie came out of Infinity War and said that movie sucks shit, it was horrible, how disappointing, everybody would have jumped on the bandwagon, and anybody saying otherwise would either feel pressure to get bullied into falling in line. 100%. I really do feel like the first couple hundred people to come to the internet and post their opinion of a movie or a game or whatever are the first people to decide what the publicly socially acceptable opinion on that thing is allowed to be. It's just, I've seen it. I swear to God, it's real. If you disagree, say so in the comments.
I hope this whole means cops will let me go, because if I play as a minority criminal,
I like how he skipped the comment there from probably one of his own fans. That's literally, that's not what I expect. Is he just gonna read comments from random people that are just complaining about it?
Dumb move. GTA was the last bastion of hope. I bet it doesn't do as well as 5. It will, I'm sure. Never played it, but I imagine that means she'll have pronouns and the game will suck. Grand woke off.
Chat. How do you... It's not even reason. It's not even reasoning. How do you debunk talking points coming from somebody who doesn't even understand the English language? Now, I'm not saying this in a like, this would be a whole other story if we're talking about someone where English is their second language. We're talking about someone who English is their first language. They've been on this earth at least twice as long as I have, and yet this motherfucker... Oh, God. People this stupid, who have this weak of a grasp of reality, are the ones who are controlling a lot of policy making across the country. I want you to remember that, guys.
Otto, thanks, Biden, like all these, and like the fact that they're coming out and saying this tells you that it's like been a big deal to them. The next installment of GTA video game series will have the first ever female protagonist in history. And
hey, guess what? Do you guys want to know something? They also announced that GTA San Andreas was going to have the first ever black protagonist in a GTA game. They did. I actually, there's a YouTuber by the name of Epic Mealtime, Harley, a very famous YouTuber. He told a story once recently on the PKA podcast, Painkiller Already podcast. And let me just say, this is not a left-wing podcast by any fucking means, okay? And yet, Harley went on to tell a story about when GTA San Andreas came out. And he was working at GameStop. When the game came out, he had dozens upon dozens upon dozens upon dozens of customers coming in, mad at him, demanding that he explain to them how to make their character white. They were enraged and wanted their money back because they didn't know the main character was going to be a black man. So they'd be either screaming they want their money back, they want to know how to make their character white, they want to know if there are cheat codes to make their character white. They were mad. They were fucking mad, and they came in by the dozens. Now, let me just say, this Harley guy, I mean, he's not like a right-winger or anything, but he's certainly not some left-wing, like, political guy who has reason to lie about this. He was just casually telling a story about when he worked at GameStop when he was younger. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. This is the same level of moral panic. TheQuartering is no different, and honestly, probably was one of those same guys who walked into the fucking GameStop, like 22 years ago now, when GTA San Andreas came out, and complained to the guy at the cash register, "Wait, you're telling me there's no white main character I can play as? I have to play as a black guy? I want my fucking money back." You know that happened, if he did even get that game. Hey, reminder, by the way, TheQuartering was, like, exiled from the Magic the Gathering community and is now banned from, like, all of the official events for Magic the Gathering hosted by, like, the company that runs it due to sexual harassment. Just thought I'd throw that out there. He was completely disgraced and became a right-wing YouTuber after all of that. He basically got Me Too'd and then, like, fell into doing this, and he's gotten very successful at it. That is his literal backstory. So that's the kind of guy we're talking about here. Real creepy, weird, just kind of loser kind of guy, you know?
And scales back its use of offensive humor. Again, like I said, be offended. Particularly jokes aimed at minority groups, according to a report. By the way, I'd be 100% fine with jokes at the expense of white people. Like, I don't understand that. Like, as long as this is like the whole, like, you know, Dave Chappelle skit stuff. Like, as long as you roast people equally and it doesn't feel like mean-spirited or whatever, then I think you could poke fun at, you know, races and different, you know, stereotypes. They're funny. But as long as you do it evenly across the board and you're not, like, targeting one more than the other, because then it gets a little weird, you know? The game will take place...
If I said, "Okay, Ceasler" to this man, he would melt and piss himself and shit himself and vomit and possibly even cum. Sad cum, not happy cum.
I'm sorry, the characters will be inspired by Bonnie and Clyde. Bloomberg reports Wednesday the game will take place in a fictionalized version of Miami and South Florida. According to the...
Let's fucking go! Let's go! Let's fucking go! Sorry. I hoped, my ideal hope was for a sequel to GTA 5, like a direct sequel. I would have liked a next-gen Los Santos, continue the story of... Honestly, I think Franklin would have probably been, like, the main character if they did a sequel. And, like, have him meet up with new characters, get into a new story. I don't know. I feel like GTA 5's ending felt like Franklin's story was beginning, you know? Like, it just kind of, the ending felt like that, or I don't know. Maybe it was always meant to be its own self-contained game, but I kind of feel like, I feel like they were setting up more for these characters at the end of GTA 5. It didn't feel like they're saying goodbye to each other forever and they're riding off to the sunset. It felt like well, I'll see you again next time. And like, you know, them leaving until next time. It didn't feel like a goodbye forever, but, you know. Anyway, I think I want San Fierro. I don't know. I think if a next-gen Vice City should be pretty pog. I mean, I've been to Miami many times. I grew up in Florida. I'm a Florida man. So, I can't say I'm too mad about this.
The report, the last Grand Theft Auto game, was to take place in is a fictionalized Miami was 2002's Vice City. GTA 6's developers are also reportedly abandoning the series' record of making crude and potentially offensive jokes about minority groups. The developers are being cautious not to punch down. Are you saying that black people can't take jokes? That seems
We're getting the classic, the left are the real racists, guys. Did you guys know it is actually racist to not call black people the N-word? Because by not doing that, you were implying that if you did do that, then black people wouldn't be able to take the joke. Because of course these guys think that saying the N-word is a joke, just on its own. Like, what the fuck kind of logic is this? It's literally, this is more of a stretch than the I didn't pay attention in high school history class, and so I'm going to try to claim the Democratic Party founded the KKK and supported slavery. Yep, the lefties are in favor of slavery in the KKK. They say while wearing their Confederate flag shirt with their Confederate flag on their house and their Confederate flag on their truck and their Confederate flag over their bed and their Confederate flag and great granddad's Confederate jacket up in the fucking display case.
Seems racist to me. Are you saying that Asian people can't take jokes? That seems racist to me.
Okay, let's talk about edgy humor, all right? What is punching down, all right? Punching down when it comes to humor is the idea of somebody who is in a position higher. Like, for example, let's say if George Carlin, wealthy, straight white man, went up on stage every day and just complained about how much he hates poor people. Just those fucking poor people, those homeless people always on the street, get them out of here, send them to the meat grinder. Like, if that was his humor all day, it was nothing but shitting on people that are generally of a lower socioeconomic status than him, that generally just have it broadly rougher than him. That would be punching down. Dave Chappelle, for example, for a very long time was against punching down. Dave Chappelle on racial humor is pretty damn based. He's not bad on that kind of stuff. However, he's very, very stupid when it comes to anything having to do with identity or with sexuality. He genuinely believes that gay and trans people are basically white people trying to feel and look as oppressed as black people. That's really the core of his message. It's not humor. It's more of a lecture that he goes up on stage and gives to the audience that they're all meant to agree with. That's not humor. That's not a comedy routine. That's more of a lecture. Now, don't get me wrong, there is humor that's like meant to make a point, but his humor isn't just jokes that are meant to be laughed at. He's trying to convince people of an ideology, of a very harmful political ideology, an incorrect one that can very easily be torn apart when it's not protected by the very pussy-ass, spineless defense of, it's just a joke, don't take it so seriously, nothing we say is serious unless no one is scrutinizing what we're saying. Like, listen, conservatives, everything they say is serious when it's in their YouTube videos and they're saying it to their audience and they're making money off of it. Everything they say is a joke when they're in a call with a lefty and it's time to actually talk about that stuff. Follow that rule and you'll be able to tell how conservatives think about 99% of the time.
Previous Grand Theft Auto games stoked controversy both for their spicy content and their use of humor that critics said was phobic. Okay.
Gotta make that money.
Be offended. Now, it's still a long time away, and 2 Rockstar employees quit the company's Edinburgh office due to frustrations about the game's slow development, according to Bloomberg. The game's slow progress is partially due to the changes that Rockstar Games implemented to improve employee working conditions after reports emerged of excessively long work hours and a, quote, frat boy culture, according to Bloomberg.
I forgot TheQuartering was opposed to the exposing of Blizzard and all these game companies for like the sexual harassment and like the mistreatment of women. I forgot he was in favor of the sexual harassment. I forgot. Do you remember when we covered the young rip of it? That was one of those things where like conservatives came out on YouTube just strongly pro sexual harassment. It was wild. So, for those of you guys that don't know, Blizzard and a bunch of other game companies got in trouble, but particularly Blizzard, got sued by the state of California for just rampant sexual harassment that was happening to women in their workspace. It is just a rampant issue in the gaming industry. It is well known. It has been well talked about. However, people like TheQuartering, who is himself a known sexual harasser, who completely got disbarred, or not disbarred, but completely kicked out of the Magic the Gathering community by the official, like the company that made Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, I think it's called. Or is that the D&D one? I don't remember. The people that make up Magic the Gathering have banned him from the official events because of his, sexual harassment of fellow MTG players. So of course he would be on board, along with like other conservative content creators like Young Rippa, who were like, "Oh, frat boy culture. Oh, what were they slapping girls' asses? Oh, come on, get over it." Yeah. These people don't give a shit about women being sexually harassed or kids getting groomed or anything like that. These people don't give a shit about consent as a concept. There's a reason why they don't ever make any videos or talk about the rampant problem with child marriage there is in this country that is being perpetuated. I think the kitty is hungry. I will feed you in just a second, baby. I gotta finish this segment. That is being perpetuated largely by fucking conservatives. Can I please finish the segment? Can I please? Come on, kitty. Come on. Can I? My cat, she screams like a dying baby. She screams like a dying human baby. Let's wrap up this segment.
Bloomberg. Rockstar Games, which is owned by Take-Two, did not immediately respond. This on top of, you see this, women who love Grand Theft Auto reveal how GTA 6 can fix their past. I mean,
don't want to read any,
right?
Don't want to read any of this. Wouldn't want to expose you or your audience to any ideas you don't agree with, right? Who knows? Maybe they'll make a good point that you actually can't argue against. Like they did there, where they showed an image of a character that's like canonically like 17 years old. Isn't that character literally Michael's 17-year-old daughter? Isn't she like literally like underage in that game or something? It's been a while since I played through the story, but like, isn't it implied that like, what's her name? Like Stacy or something? It's some very basic white girl name. That Michael's daughter is like, she's in high school. Yeah, like at best she's a senior who's 18, but like regardless, it's super fucking weird and creepy. And I know that it's satirical. It's very obviously satirical. It's meant to do, she's a porn. No, she's not. I remember the game. Like the commentary it gives is on like the idea of like young girls getting, the daughter's called Tracy. I was close, okay? I knew it was close to Stacy. All right. I thought like her whole arc is like commentary about young girls getting pushed into like over sexualization and everything at a young age before they're really like, fully grown up and realize the consequences of their actions, while at the same time, Michael is being this over the top, insane, dad, stereotypical, insane, violent dad in response to this, who's going too far. And then Laszlo, I think his name was, is like this creepy executive who's like, yeah, maybe you do something for me and I do something for you. Like, it's very clear that GTA 5 was like satirically calling out several tropes there, but at the same time, what is the issue with them acknowledging where some of the presentation here could possibly go over people's heads as far as it being satire?
Men are so fragile. Wait, are you...
Let's just watch this bit. Let's just watch him respond to this girl making fun of dudes complaining about this game, saying men are so Let's watch him fragilely respond to this girl calling him fragile.
This is the thing. This is Kelly's response, right? In January, rumors spread, People were making jokes about it. Almost all the player base is male. We don't want to play as a woman. A mission having us do house chores. No thanks. They're just jokes. All right.
I love it. I fucking they're such pussies. They're such spineless pussies. Oh my god. They nothing. So this is the beautiful dichotomy that the right has built for themselves online for their propaganda. Everything they say when it's well packaged and it has the dog whistle going and it's you know, it's not overt hate. They're serious. This is genuine political messaging, so on and so on. But the second the mask comes off and what all of that dog whistling actually means comes out, now all of a sudden it's something either between that person's a Fed or they're just jokes. They're just jokes. They're just jokes. Don't take any of them seriously. They're just jokes, but actually they're pretty true and based if you really think about it. But they're just jokes, so you can't criticize them, but they're also really true and based, and you're just triggered over the truth. But also they're just jokes, and you can't take them seriously. You can't argue against them, or you're triggered, and you're a triggered lefty who's taking jokes too seriously.
And by the way, I think, you know, having, again, options of plays either one is totally fine. And like, it's not like women don't play video games, especially GTA, where they have the whole like RP scene, which was really popular. But then Kelly whines about sexism with more sexism. Lamau men are so fragile. GTA 6 female protagonist rumors lead to users leaving mean remarks on Twitter. Meg Turner, lol.
Dude, this is literally a guy who bitches and complains about how he's a martyr for getting canceled all the time on Twitter. This is a guy who is literally bitching and complaining that Keffels was harassing him. Is this not the man who's been melting down for like a month over Keffels on Twitter? How is this guy making fun of women complaining about harassment on Twitter? These people literally are the definition of throwing a stone from a glass house.
Well, this is why I'm glad I don't report gaming news anymore. Why? Because you can't take a joke. You're the one that seems fragile. Oh, teenager makes joke about get back in the kitchen. I'm just destroyed. I can't possibly handle it.
Imagine this guy back during the civil rights movement responding to like a Martin Luther King speech. Like MLK's like, we have serious injustice in this country. We need to expose this to the public. It must be dealt with. I can't say the exact words that were considered PC back then, but black people all across this country are being treated as less than second-class citizens. It is it is unacceptable. So just imagine like what a civil rights speech would be like back then. There were many. And then you've got the quartering, like live quartering reaction, like, so you think black people aren't brave enough and strong enough to deal with having it a little bit tougher? Sounds a little bit racist if you ask me. No, we've actually reached the level of conservative argumentation once again, just like back in the Gamergate days when they claimed the left are actually racist for I guess belittling minorities because defending them. Do you guys remember that talking point that like white lefty types were actually the real racists because them engaging in anti-racist or whatever rhetoric was actually them belittling minorities? Do you remember that talking point? It's concern trolling is what it is. It's actually virtue signaling, the very thing that the right likes to accuse the left of doing, only it's it's an attempt to using it against somebody that they think it would actually have some effect against. They think they can convince people, you see, lefties that are watching this lefty figure is actually the real racist because wanting to improve the state of this country for marginalized people is actually belittling to those people because that's implying they can't handle it. Time is a flat circle.
Like, Are you kidding me? I think that it would be foolish in a lot of ways to expect modern video game culture to not bend the knee to this kind of PC. We can't offend anybody, well, except for one particular, white males you can make a lot of fun of.
Didn't he just say he has no problem with making jokes about white people? How do you complain about racist jokes against white people in the same video in which you say that minorities are getting too uppity and because they want to be in video games too much? And they want to have less offensive humor in those games. Do you not see? Does not a single viewer see what's going on here? No, of course they don't.
You can insult them. You can make them the bad guys in these video games, but anybody else you can't do. White females are getting pretty close though too. So look out, ladies. And again, I don't understand what the.
You're not allowed to make any character that's not straight white male a villain without getting canceled. What are you fucking talking about, dude? Are you not literally making the argument that there isn't enough diversity in media right now? Wait, he's actually I feel like through a roundabout way, he's actually arguing that the only acceptable presentation of marginalized people in media would be for them to be villains. GTA 3 literally had a Latin woman as the villain. I'm sure there are millions of examples, literally millions of examples that would debunk everything that he is saying right now. TheQuartering has never said a true thing in his life. If he said the sky was blue, it would turn purple spontaneously in the sky because he is incapable of making a true statement. That is how stupid and wrong he is. He's ontologically wrong.
The problem is, as long as you're roasting everybody equally, what's the problem? The more you pretend.
Metal Gear Solid 3, where the main villain is the fucking is the boss, who's literally a woman who has her boobs out, just big old cleavage in your face, as she beats your ass in a field of flowers.
Pretend that there aren't differences or stereotypes or people really making these types of jokes in real life, which they do. The stupider your quest to stop.
Wait, is he trying to do the there should be racist jokes in these games because people make racist jokes in real life? Is that are we going back around to the it's unrealistic for a video game? It's unrealistic for a video game to not have racist remarks and jokes. This is like a 5-year-old thought. Not really. This is more like a 10-year-old thought. This is like when I'd be like 10 years old and I'd be watching The Walking Dead and I'd be like, I'm 10 years old and even I know that these characters be dropping F-bombs every 10 seconds in real life. Like, the TV censors are keeping these characters from engaging in the same vocabulary that they actually would in real life. I'm sorry. I drop F-bombs every 2 seconds in real life. If there were zombies trying to kill me, you better fucking believe I would be like, oh, fuck, every time one came out of a bush unexpectedly or something, you know? And that doesn't really happen in The Walking Dead except for once a season when they're allowed to say it. Like, what are you fucking talking about, dude? You see, it would be unrealistic for there not to be a certain type of language in this game because in real life, people talk this way. What? What? That is not how media works. Have you ever watched a movie or a TV show before? Characters don't talk like they do in real life in media, even. Like, I feel like the closest I've ever seen to dialogue that sounds real, I guess you could say, would be like, Quentin Tarantino movies. I'm not talking about the constant use of the N-word, by the way. I'm talking about just normal conversations between characters in a Quentin Tarantino movie typically feel really real. Like, it's just like, you could kind of imagine somebody just kind of took out a camera and, like, recorded some people talking, and they aren't acting or anything. Like, I don't know. Yeah, like, movies and TV shows, it's very easy to, like, once you've watched a lot of movies and TV shows and played a lot of video games, you can almost finish character lines sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how a character, like, you can almost always finish a character's line because you know how they have to say it, because saying it in any other way wouldn't be cinematic enough for a TV show or a movie or a video game. So you kind of know exactly what they're going to say because it has to sound good and poetic and like it was written in a script. You know? Like, come on. This is just basic media analysis. What are you talking about?
All mean jokes gets and sounds, doesn't it? Now, I'm sure there'll be a lot of news around GTA 6, and it's been a while since I covered video games. It just hasn't been a lot that I want to, that it's been exciting to me. But, you know, I'll
Xander Hall, sort of how there's a huge disconnect between how Japanese is spoken in anime versus actual Japan, or how Japanese is spoken on Japanese TV and how people in Japan speak. From what I've seen, Japanese television is super you ever see a Morgs video where it's like,
What's up, guys? Welcome to the video. I'm giving away a free gift card. Make sure to leave a like. Keep watching the video. We're gonna be staying the night with 24 hours in a underneath my mom's van.
it's like imagine that, but it's all in Japanese. That is Japanese television, from my understanding. It is apparently fucking awful. I have talked to people that live in Japan, and they have said Japanese television is fucking awful. It's so fucking bad. It's like watching a Morgs video, but in Japanese. Remember when Morgs killed his mum? That was the comparison I had made by my friend who's Japanese and lives in Japan. She said, Japanese television is like a Morgs or like one of those clickbait YouTuber types. It's like super in your face, just in Japanese. It's like it's very much what's the word for it? It's very corporate. It's very, very, very corporate. Is my understanding. It's like it feels like there's a gun to the heads of every actor telling them, you better fucking sell whatever this is. You better make this entertaining. Nobody's clicking off of this fucking show, okay? If anyone clicks off, then we kill one of your family members. It's like, it feels like that's what the studio executives are doing. That's what I've heard. Spot on Morg's accent, though. My impression was perfect. Okay, we've sunlocked too much. Is this the end of the video? Are we done listening to the Quartering's voice?
I still cover video games on this channel, so if you were entertained by this video, please make sure you click that red subscribe button down below. I'll be following this story and others undoubtedly. I hope you enjoyed this video.
Hey, chat, if you like big titties in video games, like my video, subscribe, and ring the bell icon. Do all of the YouTube things that make my channel go pew into the stratosphere. Do all those things. Perhaps even donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, StreamElements, or Patreon. And maybe, if you're an extra big Xanderholic and you want to see more from me on the internet, consider perhaps even going down to the description and following my social media, especially my Twitter, where all the spiciest memes happen. With all that said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and have a good one. That was a good segment. God, the quartering really is deficient in something. My man needs some vitamin C. His brain ain't working. Zan, I know someone IRL that stopped playing the 2015 Lara Croft game because of her having more backstory. like having PTSD because I can't see myself in this character. Well, yeah, I mean, well, to be clear, the gaming community for a very long time has looked at Lara Croft as like a sex symbol. Let's be real. Out of I would say Lara Croft is probably the most Rule 34 character of all time, the most shamelessly sexualized character of like popular games and like mainstream popular games of all time, like arguably. And the changes made to that have been very, very, very small. And yet, those small changes that have been made to make Lara Croft more of a well-rounded, three-dimensional character that's not just big boobies bouncing around tombs and caves in somewhere in the jungle or the desert, like, and that's how a lot of people saw her. They did that with newer games, and people lost their fucking shit. I just now realized Luna's in the mirror. Yeah, she's fat. She's getting fat. She's at her grandma's house. She's so used to being here and just being able to scream and get fed. I just messaged my mom and had her feed Luna for me because I'm streaming. So she's all happy and her belly's full of probably tuna. She's been getting a lot of tuna. Eurona, thank you for the $5. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Says, compensation for watching TheQuartering. Thank you so goddamn much. It helps a lot. And hopefully it'll help me pay my medical bills for all the brain damage I got from watching a quartering video. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Not a lot of donos today, though. Only $20 out of 300. I doubt we're going to make much more. Xander Hall, I really want to see Morbius. Do you recommend any precautions I should take? It's just a really boring movie. It's just such a boring movie. Like, I've forgotten most of it already. And the thought of, like, watching it again gives me that, like, feeling that you get when you find out you need to, like, take out the trash or something, you know? Like, like, if you made me watch Morbius right now, it'd just be a chore. It's not even funny bad or fun bad. It's just boring. It's just fucking boring and a chore to sit through. Yeah, Wax, well, I'd have to be high to watch it. I've watched it already, and I was high for it, but I'd have to be high if you'd ever, like, really high to watch it again. Like, so high that I'm not really watching the movie. I'm mostly just stoned and focusing on being stoned. Jared Leto murdered it? I don't even... Jared Leto is not a good dude. He is not a good fucking dude. Okay. We got funny shit to talk about. I already talked about the Trump raid. I'm sorry, a pillow. Chat, you know what to do when I say action, right? Three, two, one, action. This is a real headline that I'm about to read to you. This is from WEA 13 News, which is associated with ABC, I believe. This is a real headline. I'm reading it to you word for word. Wisconsin school district bans pride flags and pronouns. A recent decision by a Wisconsin school district to ban pride flags and the use of pronouns in emails has released an avalanche of pushback from students, alumni, and others, while the superintendent said it's simply reaffirming a policy that's already in place. Yes, the classic, wait, why are you complaining about this thing? It's been around for a long time. That should mean it's okay, right? Defense. Kettle Moraine, school district superintendent Ken Plum, recently told the school board in an interpretation of a policy that prohibits staff from using their positions to promote partisan politics, religious views, and propaganda for personal, monetary, or non-monetary gain. I like that. They're not allowed to bring up their like anything involving partisan politics or religious views, which includes like their identity. Clearly, their their gender identity or their sexuality. So this includes like me and my husband or me and my wife or me and my partner or whatever. Like you can't even like say that anymore. And apparently they're banning the use of pronouns too. Also, saying a thing has been around for a long time, so why are you complaining about it? Wow, what a fantastic response. And I like how they threw in personal, monetary, and non-monetary gain. So just anything. You're just not allowed to mention it because that covers everything. Plum said teachers and administrators are prohibited from displaying political or religious messages in their classrooms or on their person, including pride flags, Black Lives Matter flags, and We Back the Badge signs. Oh, good. You also can't have like the Blue Lives Matter flags and stuff. Okay. So I can understand not wanting to have, say, like a BLM flag or a We Back the Badge flag. These are, well, I may agree with BLM. These are overtly political messages. And there's, I guess, an argument to be made that teachers should not be allowed to push their own political views onto students, because typically this is conservatives, like teachers pushing their conservative views onto their students, usually. But what they're actually going after here isn't like a gay teacher going up in front of their class and saying, hey guys, here's what being gay is. It's good to be gay. You should be gay. Or you should accept gay people. That would be fine, by the way. But regardless, it's not even that. It's simply the existence, like it's sort of a don't ask, don't tell kind of thing, right? A step back, right? The military used to have a thing called don't ask, don't tell when it came to being gay or trans or anything like that, where you'd be kicked out of the military and not allowed to serve if it ever came out that you were gay or trans, but they weren't going to ask. So as long as you kept it to yourself, it wouldn't be an issue. Now, conservatives and, homophobes and bigots will, of course, defend this policy and say, well, what's the big deal? They just don't have to say, they just gotta keep it a secret. Why not? Obviously, if you're making an entire group of people in society have to keep their identity a secret as policy, well, that doesn't sound very free to me, does it? That doesn't sound very American to me. Now, does it? What do you guys think? Now, that's the whole thing. That is the entirety of the article. It hasn't actually gotten a lot of attention besides that, but students in Wisconsin in that district have complained about it, but this is very much news that's flown under the radar. That's more or less all you're going to find about it. Like, there's a few other articles from like a week or two ago that talk about it, but that's basically it. This just flew under the radar. This just completely flew under the radar. That is how common these anti-LGBT laws and legislation have become. That they're being shotgunned out so fast that they can literally pass by you without noticing. Bills that ban just being allowed to be openly gay or trans or whatever in this Wisconsin school district. A bill a rule that enforces that has flown past everyone's heads. This didn't reach national headlines. No one freaked out over this. Not at least not on a large scale. Not like they did for the Don't Say Gay bill. Because the right has been shotgunning this shit out so fast, you just can't pay attention to it all. It's just so many local and state laws, you can't cover it on a broader level. It's just such a long list. There's an area here in Southern California that's trying to ban abortion, a town here in Southern California that's trying to ban abortion. That's at least gotten attention, but God. I only saw one thread about this situation and it had 600 likes. What can I say? It's just so much. People are so overwhelmed with this news, with the fact that the right is just going as hard as they can to assault the rights of LGBT people, that it's just too much to keep up with. You can't keep up. It's like trying to keep up with Marvel releases, you know? It's hard for some people. You gotta be on top of it. You gotta be like a hardcore, diehard follower to be able to keep up with everything that's going on. If you're just a casual viewer of politics, you just can't keep up with all of it. Fuck DeSantis, TBH. I still remember the day. I actually showed a picture on Twitter not too long ago of me at this science fair. I went to the Florida State Science Fair when I would have been 12 or 13. I might have been 12. I think 13, actually. I think I was 13 years old. I went to the Florida State Science Fair when I was 13 years old. I actually didn't look too much different than I do now because I had the blonde highlights back then. Because I was blonde back in the day. And I was in a suit and I was there. And at the time, governor of the state of Florida went there to like shake the hands of all the kids that were at the, and, you know, say hello to all the kids that were at the science fair. Complete PR move. I did not like Rick Scott because I was a big fan. My literal like science project was about whether or not runoff from like all sorts of bullshit like fertilizers and fuel and oil and just any types of pollution, everything like that was polluting my canal that I lived on. We lived on a canal, and it was getting polluted to crazy. Like, it was getting all murky and fucked up, and it stopped being, you know, pretty, right? And so from this house that we rented, it had like this little area that I could go down to the water. So I would go down to the water, collect a sample every single day. I'd measure turbidity, I'd measure acidity, there was so many different things I measured. What else did I measure? Water temperature was one of them that I measured. As well as the air temperature, I would log. God, there was just so much stuff that I tested for. I basically had a little fucking chemistry lab on the back porch, and every day I went out. Alkalinity, thank you. Every single fucking day I'd go out onto the porch and just test this fucking water, and with and I had a little notepad, and I'd write down all of the different all the numbers and everything. Nitrogen levels, I don't think I measured that. I might have, though. That sounds important for me to have measured. Anyway, I did pretty damn well. I got up the state science fair, and I was proud of myself, but Rick Scott came to me to shake my hand, and I was pissed off because Rick Scott was notorious for just shredding any environmental protections. So when he went to shake my hand, I grabbed his hand and I squeezed as hard as my 13-year-old fucking grip could, okay? I squeezed that Voldemort-looking motherfucker's hand as hard as I fucking could. I hoped that I'd be like Harry Potter and I'd make him fucking turn to ash just by touching him, but it didn't work. I don't think it hurt him very much. I was 13 years old. My favorite meme is transphobes saying a singular they them is grammatically correct, then use a singular, or grammatically incorrect, then use a singular they them in the same sentence. That's always a really funny one. Yeah. It should go to show, by the way, just because somebody has a high position of power in our government, even if their title indicates they ought to have a lot of credibility when they talk about a topic like this, that does not mean they have it. The right relies on pointing to, like, groups of doctors that have been put together by a board consisting of people that are members of a hate group. Then when you do the history on those doctors, they've all literally been completely, like, embarrassed out of their fields and no longer, like, act as currently acting academics because nobody accepts them because they're so fucking crazy. And now the only place they can find work is by advocating for conservatives. Like, you understand that lady from back when COVID first started that was going on in front of the White House about how COVID is caused by demons and gay sex? Remember that lady? The lady that was talking about the demons of the COVID demons, the gay sex who remembers that lady? Speaking on, like, the White House steps or something like that, like literally a Trump-endorsed doctor. She's a real doctor, and she believes COVID is caused by demons. and that homosexuality is caused by similar demons, okay? And she's a doctor, okay? Now, I'm not saying you can't trust medical institutions and stuff. Broadly, the scientific method works pretty damn well. I have some pretty good... I have faith in the scientific... Well, it's not really faith. I have trust in the scientific method. I believe it works most of the time. I'm pretty confident that the process of data collection, peer review, and research that the vast majority of our academic and medical institutions engage in, and you know, the peer review and everything that happens before a broad consensus conclusion is reached, I trust those broad consensus conclusions. What I don't trust are crazy quack whack job disgraced doctors that aren't taken seriously by any of the medical institutions or academia. Or even like the best case scenario is you'll get like a surgeon who comes out and says, who isn't an expert on this, who will come out and say, hey, look at me, I'm a doctor, here's why trans people are mentally ill. And then the right will tout like an unverified, like they'll make an opinion, a book of their opinions. But because they're a doctor that does not specialize in that field, conservatives will tout that kind of shit. That is the level of dishonesty conservatives operate on. They don't care about truth. They don't care about credibility. All they care about is, does this name and this title, does it sound official? Does it sound trustworthy? And sometimes, if you're like a random nobody YouTuber, you'll go and you'll put on a British accent, a fake British accent to sound smart. What's his name? Arch Warhammer? Arch, I guess he's just Arch now. Hello, audience. Today we're going to talk about the woke inquisition on our beloved video games. That guy. Or the, or Sargon, who definitely fucking plays up his accent. 100%. God, the British accent thing that conservatives use to sound smarter is the most frustrating. Regardless, this superintendent should be fired. Banning pronouns? Are you fucking kidding me? How does the superintendent of a school district not have a proper elementary school English education? God help us. God help this country. Fly the flag upside down. All right. If you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me. Go down in the description below if you want to follow my social medias, including my Instagram and my Twitter if you really want to see the spicy, fun memes, especially my fan Discord too. That's where all the real fans are at. And of course, if you want to support me financially, you can do so, nose itch, in the form of a donation, sub, or gifted sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or even through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. Regardless of how you support me, though, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. Listen, guys, I'm going to give you all a reality check. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford to move to Seattle by the end of the year. Just kind of going off of how streams have, or like how streams have been since I like got out of my situation with Lonnie where I was constantly being robbed. It doesn't look like within the year I'm gonna be able to, like the like, what's the meme? Fuck, what's his name? The guy from Tiger King. I'm blanking on it. What's the Tiger King guy's name? Joe Exotic. You know the Joe Exotic meme where he says, I'm never going to financially recover from this? Well, I'm certainly not going to financially recover from the girlfriend tax this year at this rate. I'm not trying to guilt you guys. I'm just giving you guys an update on things. Probably going to be early Q2 next year, most likely at this rate, that I will be able to afford to move to Seattle. But then that's also throwing in this year's taxes I'll have to take care of, so maybe then that delays things more, because that's going to be a big cut into things. So, yeah, well, we'll see. However, to counteract that, Sherry is now going to be double uploading every day, and I'm going to be streaming a lot more, so who knows? Maybe things change. Dono should pick up after summer. Would they? Would donos be more frequent during the summer than, or after the summer than during? People are traveling this time of year? Huh, I don't know. Don't give up hope. We haven't reached the election season yet. Later this year, that's true. I don't know. I'm just trying to give you guys realistic expectations on the move to Seattle because I literally got. Oh wait, I wanted to show you this. Wait, can I show this? Hold on, wait. Let me make sure the person who sent this to me is cool with me showing this on stream. Yes. Uncle Dingler, are you in chat right now? Yeah, you're in chat. Let's go. Uncle Dingler literally sent me videos and pictures of their hold on. Of his quail setup. And they're very cute. Got an incubator, got some clucking good grubs for their food. Nice cage that seems to be tall enough for them to not break their necks. My sister's quail. Well, still, I mean, you know what I mean. And, you know, people are getting really, really hyped about the quail thing and me moving up to Seattle, but I want to manage people's expectations. If it's not looking financially possible within the end of the year, I want to update you guys on how things are looking, because I'm not saying things have been bad, but things have been significantly less good since I broke up with Lonnie financially with YouTube. Though, to be fair, a large part of that is that I've been so stressed and so busy, I haven't been able to stream and upload as much. Lonnie Gate. Especially if the Northwest gets hit with ice storms again. It'll be expensive. One thing I will say, Zan, wait until April to move, honestly. Getting over the mountains at the end of the year is not a fun move. I almost died. Oh, but I want so badly to be able to... One of the things I wanted so badly was to be able to move to Seattle before, like, before winter, or, like, in the beginning of winter, so I could experience the snow. Because I love snow. Oh, that bums me out. The pass is borked in the winter? Oh, no. Yeah, maybe it'll be better off waiting a little bit later in the year anyway for the snow to melt, if it's that fucking deadly to drive through Oregon during the winter, Oregon and Washington State during the winter. I went from Oregon through California to get to the south, and our U-Haul lost brakes on the downslope of the mountain. Oh my god. Oh god, I literally... Okay. When I was like little, like 4 or 5, my grandma used to like take me on road trips up the coast, like usually up to West Virginia, for like flea markets, because her job was literally buying mostly like jewelry. Like she was really good at telling what jewelry was actually real gold, real silver, really valuable, real diamonds, real gemstones, what was costume jewelry. So she'd go to a flea market, a garage sale, anything like that, find some jewelry or something that was like, being undersold, identify it as being real. She'd usually bring a little kit with her too in her purse, and she'd buy it up for super cheap, put it in display cases, go to a flea market, usually somewhere around the area of Florida that we lived in, but sometimes out of state, for really big ones that happen like once a year, like really big flea markets, and she'd sell them for their actual value because she'd recognize like that this is real gold, this is real silver. They're selling this for like $20. This is actually more worth like $100. Real story, by the way. Real story. This is gonna make me sound like a piece of shit, but when I was 8 years old, I got out of the car after school and found a gold and diamond wedding ring in the parking lot of the apartment complex that I lived in. Picked it up. 14 karat gold inscribed on the inside of the ring. 14 karat, 14K is written there. I'm like, fuck. I knew exactly who to bring it to. I'm like, Mom, look at this. And my mom's like, holy shit, give that to your grandma. She'll know she'll sell it, and you can get the and she'll give you the money for it, or most of the money for it. I was like, yeah, let's go. So I give it to my grandma. My grandma puts it in her display case, goes to the flea market, and she sells it to a lady who gives her a check. She ends up selling it for $250. That's how much it was worth, $250. The deal that I came to with my grandma was that my grandma would get $50 and I'd get $200. It was a bad check. It was a bad check. Now, something that you need to understand, chat, is that $200 to an 8-year-old is like $1 billion to an adult, okay? And I'd do just about anything for $1 billion, chat. And that's what $200 was to me $200 was to me back then. So you know what I told my grandma to do? Press charges and destroy that woman. I want my money. That's really that's more or less what I said as an 8-year-old. I want my money. And so my grandma did. The lady got arrested, and then it turned out she had cancer. And she died in jail from cancer. True story. I was 8 years old. If you don't believe me, I will literally call my mom in here to tell that same story to you guys, because she was there for all of it. She didn't have cancer when she got arrested. It got discovered when she was in prison. She was, sick, I guess. She just thought she was, old and, dealing with being old. And it wasn't until she was in prison that, the people there were she got inspected and was like, oh, you got cancer. And she got treatment in prison, or in jail, but she died. It was too late. That story was wild. I do regret it. There was no reason, I was a shithead little 8-year-old who did not understand that, for one, getting her put in jail doesn't get me my money. And two, $200 is not enough, at least in my opinion, to destroy someone over, okay? I didn't even end up pressing charges against Lonnie after she stole a lot from me. Bosch raid, let's go! I still got a couple segments to do. What's the plan, Zan? We're gonna cover some good shit, guys. We got some good memes to cover, guys. Okay. I've got the first thing we're talking about set up. We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, Dark Brandon. Let me get it all set up, guys. Oh, come on. Come on. Give me a moment, chat. I know you're all hyped. The Vosh Raiders are flooding in. Okay. Fucking hate Twitter. I hate its layout. I hate the way it's programmed and the way it works. It's the worst. All right. Where is it? I need the original tweet. I need the original tweet. Where is it? Where's SDL's original tweet? Here it is. We got it. That's what I like to see. All right. Thank you for the donos, chat. I love to see it. Thank you, guys. You're very kind. You're very lovely. You're very beautiful. You're very sexy. Your dicks are huge. Your tits are massive. Your non-genderable genitalia are aesthetically pleasing. Whichever you prefer to hear. We do not judge here, obviously. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. If you are a Vosh Raider, if you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe, ring the bell icons, all those things. You know what to do. You've watched YouTube content before. What the fuck am I to tell you what to do? I'm just reminding you. All right. Y'all know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. He is rising. He cannot be stopped. and you will not be safe in his America.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. You are dead.
For all those of you who voted for President Trump, there's no way out.
There we go. So, you've been introduced to possibly the best meme of the year. I'm laying my foot down. I'm putting my foot down strong and firmly on this. This is the best meme of the year. The Dark Biden meme. So, it's no secret. Joe Biden is a bumbling, gaffing, kind of old fool in the eyes of most people. He's not the greatest at public speaking, especially these days. And most people don't look at him, sincerely as being this strong political, left wing, this flag carrier of the left. No one genuinely sees him that way, except for, very hardcore Democrats, I guess. However, he is the best we fucking have. And part of having to deal with the best you really have is kind of joking about the situation you're in. And seeing as Biden, to be fair, is actually doing better as president than I think a lot of people thought he'd do. Come on, let's be real. Has Biden not done better as president than many of you expected? He's actually done a decent job. Other than, people try to pin the gas prices and the inflation on him, but there's no evidence that it's his fault. These are things out of his control, and he's even taken very strong action to change it and make it better, and they've worked. He's been pretty proactive. He's not perfect by any means, but he's done a decent enough job. So, more or less, the left has decided, or at least the funny parts of the left, have decided to adopt a new meme. A meme that is meant to sort of, in a way, poke fun at Biden. There's obviously, it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's not genuinely praising Biden. It's meant to be ironic. It's very much like the, talking about how great Morbius is, when people would, make the memes about Morbius outselling every other movie, and it's the joke is that the movie's awful, but people are pretending it's good, That's part of the Dark Brandon joke. But that's not all of it. The part of the Dark Brandon joke that makes it so perfect, so good, possibly the most golden, freshly minted, fresh-baked, glorious, fluffy, white bread, fresh out of the oven. I'm thinking about freshly baked bread right now, so I can't stop describing that for some reason. This is what happens when you get stoned on stream, chat. Just this fresh fucking meme. The reason why this is so effective is the reaction that it gets out of the right. Or better, or more so should I say, that it is a response to the right, and how good of a response to the right that it is. So, for those of you guys who haven't seen it yourselves, the right is kind of terrified of Biden, or at the very least, they act like they are. Here's a tweet from Ted Cruz. The Manchin-Schumer bill will create oh my god, why are you auto-playing? What the hell? The Manchin-Schumer bill will create 87,000 new IRS agents to target regular, everyday Americans. Stop Biden's shadow army now. Shadow army, okay. You made that sound... How do you make funding for the IRS to hire more employees sound like the setup for a World of Warcraft expansion? That's what he just did. Ted Cruz is an enigma. I mean, he is, from the Zodiac, from being the Zodiac killer to being governor of Texas to being a lolcow on the internet. He really does have a broad resume. I needed to squeeze in a Ted Cruz as the Zodiac Killer joke in here somewhere. I'm sorry. It was rough, but I had to do it. Wait, I haven't seen this yet. Oh my god. How do you make Biden look that cool? How do you make Biden look that fucking cool? You don't even have to make this into a meme. Like, by the way, I wanted you to know, juxtapose that with the Dark Brandon meme that we just watched. How much of a difference is there, really? You can't tell. Like, if I showed you one of those videos and then the other, I don't feel like you'd be able to tell which one is genuine conservative propaganda and which one isn't. I hope Biden's shadow army includes all of the cringy leftists that the rightoids have made fun of for years. Dark Big Red. Let's go. Dark Big Red. Big Red comes back for revenge. Okay. You know it's a good meme and it's working when even the Democrats, the fucking Senate Democrat Committee, plays into it. This is fucking real. This is actually real. This is what we need more of. This right here. Let me do it. Thank you. That's what we need more of right there. This is fucking fantastic. This right here is what we need to see more of. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that memes, like, win elections or anything, but it's kind of important for a political movement to have control of the cultural landscape. So, here in America, at least, we have freedom of speech. You don't have the government coming to your door and, like, kicking it down and pulling you away in handcuffs if you criticize the president or anything like that. We have freedom of speech. Conservatives know that they aren't having their freedom of speech taken away when they advocate for the things they advocate for, no matter how much they lie, or how much they, spread harm or, knowingly try to spread propaganda. It doesn't matter. They know they're not going to lose their freedom of speech. At worst, they'll lose their platform. And there is always a way around that if you're smart and you have the money, and a lot of them do. So, with that in mind, you have to realize that the left kind of needs to be able to have a consequence for certain ideas that isn't legal, right? Like, think about it. You can't take away someone's right to speak because they're a racist bigot, but you can disincentivize bigoted racist behavior in society by making it socially unacceptable. There's no rules or laws or punishment necessarily for engaging or speaking in a certain way. It's just looked down on. Much like taking a shit on the side of the road in public in front of a bunch of people is looked down on. That's also illegal. I don't know. Just like, I don't know, being very crass in public. Like, I don't know, just swearing a lot and being really gross in the way that you're talking is seen as a public taboo. It's something that just people kind of look down on you for. Racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, these things should be seen the same way. And a big part of that is the left, this is very harsh wording, very strong wording, but the left dominating the culture. And the way you do that is by making your political movement look good. And part of that is memes and being funny and having a sense of humor and self-awareness. But a large part of that is also not coming off as preachy. Nothing about the Dark Biden memes are preachy. It's not suggesting anyone is wrong, or they should think a certain way, or that they need to change their opinions or anything. It subtly would push people in that direction if they view the memes the right way, and they're in the right headspace for it, but it doesn't tell them to. It's just a subtle push. Very much like the right-wing, conservative edgy humor that's very common, has a very similar subtle pushing effect to the right for a lot of people online. I think this type of humor is important. It's not preachy. It's the perfect amount of irreverent and kind of edgy and self-aware and ironic. And it's also funny. It's funny. Like, most of the content... Let's rewatch the original Dark Brandon meme. I want to point something out about this. I want you to count how many images from this are like clearly not edited. How many images from this are, like, this is obviously edited in a meme. How many images from this are clearly taken from just straight up, unironic, serious conservative propaganda? I want you guys to count.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear. And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
This image is from a real conservative campaign ad. You won't be safe in Joe Biden's America. That is from a real conservative campaign ad, a real Trump ad. That's one. That's a meme. That's a meme. That's a meme. That's definitely a meme.
For all those of you
That was a
who
flash.
voted for President Trump, there's no way out.
So not as much of those were like genuine like screenshots of conservative propaganda as I expected, but like, it's not too much different from it, is it? Especially what we've already gone over. Like, the memes in that video are not too far off from the way that the conservatives right now talk about Joe Biden. He's a communist. He's a communist mastermind who's enabling the LGBT, leftist, left-wing, socialist, communist agenda to take over our country. Like, you hear people like Marjorie Taylor Greene or these Trumpite conservative types or Republicans talk about Joe Biden, and it genuinely sounds like they're talking about, like, Homelander from The Boys or something. Like, they're terrified of him, like he's this evil mastermind who's got all this power and controls everything, and it's so bizarre. Part of that, by the way, that I should really point out is that conservatives love feeling like the victims. Have you noticed that conservatives rely on people feeling bad for them, while at the same time seeing them as strong? Conservatives want the public to see them as these strong, edgy, not afraid of getting canceled, not afraid of going against the left-wing woke PC culture grain, while at the same time being these unfortunate, deplatformed martyrs who've been, they've had everything taken from these poor guys. Oh, I feel so bad for them. They want to have their cake and eat it too. They want people to feel bad for them and feel like they're martyrs who've been, taken down in the name of the woke PC agenda, while at the same time being these strong, unstoppable, uncancelable titans, right? And you can't have your cake and eat it too. Something that these memes do, the Dark Biden memes do, is call that out. It subtly calls out the conservative victim mentality by playing into it like, yeah, you are a victim. We are going to get you. You should be afraid. And it's funny. It's objectively funny. They always play the victim? Yeah. And if they play the victim, we should play the victimizer. Why not? When conservatives play the victim, play the victimizer. As a joke. It works. It's funny. And that's what the Dark Brandon meme is. When conservatives play the victim, you play the victimizer as a joke. And people will laugh. And it will work. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment and you want to see more from me, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, comment down below, or even ring the bell icon next to the sub button so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And of course, if you want to support me and see more from me online, you can also follow my social media, linked down below, including my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, fan, Discord, all of that. It's all down there. And if you want to support me financially, you can do so by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, which you see on screen here, the chat you see on screen, xanderhall.com/live, link in the description and pinned in the chat. And of course, you can also support me on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and Patreon. As always, thank you so much for your support, no matter how you support me. I love y'all very much, and have a good one. That was a good segment. Xander Hall, shameless donate plug time. We got over 300 viewers. Yes, we do. Hell yeah. That Vosh raid. Thank you, Vosh. Your friend Jen, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very based. Says Vosh made me do it. Based. Good. Very pog. I really appreciate it. You're based. Thank you. I love you, buddy. Thank you. So that's me hugging you, by the way, through the internet. Soy ball? Yeah, Solveball. Thank you for the $10 donation. That's very nice of you. Thank you very much. Very kind. Very, very generous. Very helpful. Very poggers of you. Put your pogs in the chat. Thank you very much, says Vouch Raid. I'm aware. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Welcome. I hope you enjoy your stay here, and I appreciate your support, my friend. Very kind of you. Puffle Cakes, thank you for the 3 tier 1 gifted subs. That's $15 right there. Very based, very kind, very pog. I'm sure that Cavme Sursu 87, Dilster, and LEB3 all really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for butchering some names there. I'm stoned right now. I'm not good at reading when I am stoned. Or at all, but especially when I'm stoned. Thank you, though. I really appreciate it. I can't even remember if I added that $15 to the dono goal. I think I did. Yeah. Yeah, I think I did. I think we're at $50 now. Pog. All right. Let me update the dono goal really quick. Did you guys know that White Nervosa is going to update the website for this to happen automatically? I'm so excited. It's going to be the next update. Zan, you need a tea break? No, I don't. Actually, you don't need a tolerance break if you're a responsible weed smoker. If you don't start smoking weed until after 4 p.m. or later in the evening, I guarantee you won't have any issues with your tolerance or needing a tolerance break. I started this cart yesterday, and it's still mostly full. It's like got barely any missing. I don't really go through these things very fast anymore. Like, genuinely, just moderate yourself. Set a later time of the day where you don't start smoking till that time. You'll go through so much less weed. Your tolerance will be so much more manageable. You won't have to take tolerance breaks where you're like, oh man, I gotta go a week without smoking weed. You don't. Just smoke for only a few hours a day towards the end of the day when you're not needing to do anything productive, when it's that time of day where you can sit down and relax, the perfect time to get high. And trust me, those times when you do get high, you will get fucking high. You'll get stoned. Or just smoke more weed. Well, the problem is if you just smoke more weed, your tolerance gets higher, then you got to smoke more weed, then your tolerance gets higher, and then you get into an endless loop. And if you get too far into that, then moderating yourself might not be enough. But I found my tolerance was really high. Like, really high when I started moderating myself. Like, it took 3 blinkers to even get, like, a little bit of a head wooziness from... 3 consecutive blinkers was what it took to give me that head wooziness. That's how high my tolerance was with these concentrate vapes. So that had to be dealt with. My tolerance was way too high. I was going through these things way too fast. Wake and baking is so bad for you. Do not wake and bake. If you've got like a splitting migraine, maybe then it's fine, but you should really keep it to a minimum. Wake and baking is so bad for your well, it's good for your tolerance if your tolerance being high is what you consider good for it, but it's bad for your tolerance. It's not really good for your productivity or your brain and your body. It's just not a good idea. I haven't taken a tolerance break since I was 14. I'm 38 now, lol. Well, there you go. Do heroin or meth for fuck's sake? Hell yeah, let's go. I bought a cart for the first time yesterday, and I love how much more convenient it is than bud. I know, right? Tall small. I've been trying to concentrate cart pill you guys. You literally just get a little like cone-shaped battery that's literally this long. You charge it like once every 3 days. You get a cart, you screw it on, it gets you way higher, and you just get stoned, and it leaves no smell. It's super convenient. It's super discreet. Like, what? It's as simple as this. That was probably, at most, 20 cents worth of concentrate I just smoked. To get this high off of flower or bud, I'd probably have to smoke $2 worth of flower to get this high. Maybe $1 worth. Way more money's worth of flower to get as high as I just did from that one hit. Any moment, chat. That was a way harder hit than I expected. That was one of my first hits of the day because I took like one hit at 420. And I took one hit right before I started stream. I've taken a couple of maybe mini puffs during the stream that I don't even remember, but that was my first real hit of the stream, and oh boy, that hit. My real first hit of the day, honestly. Whew. First time I smoke weed, I'll call you. Let's go. Definitely a pillow. I want to see a reaction. Facts, I do gummies every day, but only at night / in the evening. Does me in real good and haven't built a tolerance. Used to wake and bake myself through depression. That period was not good. I know, right? The thing about wake and baking too is, hypers, if you've ever wake and baked and you literally just don't remember 99% of the events of, oh, hey, little kitty. If you don't remember 99% of the events of the days where you were wake and baking, it literally just kind of either hazes or just deletes your memories from when you were all stoned and wake and baking and stuff. It's so bad for you to wake and bake. It's just not good for you. Much like waking up in the morning and having a candy bar for breakfast wouldn't be good for you. Waking up in the morning and just smoking a bowl just isn't really good for you. It's not a good way to start your day. Look how soft she is. She is very soft. She's possibly the softest cat I've ever touched. Though she does not like being touched very much, at least not in anywhere but the top of her head. That's where she likes being touched, just between her ears, right? Like, imagine these are her ears. She only likes this area being touched, and that's it. And maybe her chin. When she's really, really sleepy and comfy, maybe her chin. But that's it. If you touch anywhere else on her, you will get bitten and murdered. And I believe she has gained a taste for human flesh. I miss Luna, but I hope she can get back to her owner ASAP. Yeah, she's right here. Or I will miss owner. Or I'll miss Luna. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely going to miss her too, but, I mean, she's Lonnie's cat. I'm just waiting for Lonnie to be in a position where she can, take care of it. Because, like, cat food is fucking expensive. I buy a case of, like, wet cat food in cans per week, and one case is, like, $35. And that's not even getting started on the kitty litter, or the dry cat food, or, God forbid, if anything happens to the cat, vet bills, or whether or not Lonnie has, like, the ability to, like, be home enough and around the cat enough to feed her. Because you have to understand, this cat needs to be fed 8 times a day. You can't just give the cat a big plate or bowl of food and just leave her there to eat it, like, every once in a while. You have to give her, like, 2 small spoonfuls of food on a plate 8 times a day. She likes to eat many different tiny meals. And the reason why it has to be small amounts each time is because it's wet food and they won't eat it if it dries up. Because my cat only likes wet food and I like to spoil her. Luna only likes wet food and I like to spoil her. So, like, because it dries up and it gets gross and, you don't want your cat eating the gross-ass dried-up wet food that dries up in a few hours, you kind of have to replace the food every, like, hour and a half or so, every 2 hours, roughly. Like, I literally fed Luna right before I started stream, and then you literally saw, like, 30 minutes ago, she started complaining for food again, and my mom had to feed her because I'm live. Like, you gotta be home all the time to feed this cat. It's just the way that she likes to eat. Just give her dry food. You can do that, but it's just not what she prefers. I don't know. I care about the cat. I'm just saying that she's just a weird cat that has her preferences, and I want to make sure that Lonnie's capable of, like, housing her before I hand her off. But yeah, that's basically what the deal is there, for those that are curious. And I'm taking very good care of this little baby. That's the cat's problem, not yours. What the fuck? What? What kind of, like, animal neglect, like, pet neglect take is that? Oh, that's the cat's problem. Oh, yeah, I should just let the cat out my front door and go have it hunt for itself. You know, the thing that vets unanimously agree is a terrible thing to do as a cat owner. Holy fuck, I hope you don't I hope you don't have any pets. Jesus. Uncle Dingler, thank you for the $10. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Very pog, very base. Says, feel free to show the quail shit I sent. Oh, also, just sent you a video of my niece showing me how to fill their feeder, and I held a few of them. Oh, okay, let me show that video in a moment. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the $10 Redinos. Did that not get added? I think it did. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Let me update the dono goal. Pog. Xanderhall, my roommate, leaves his pill bottles open and my cat got into them. We had to take him to the emergency vet and he's paying all of the bills because of his idiot ass. He better be paying those bills. Xanderhall, feeding cats only wet food is very bad for their teeth. She always has a bowl full of dry food that's fresh. One thing that you don't really realize is that dry food does get bad after a couple days. Even if it doesn't look like it, the bottom of the dry food gets gross after a couple days. You can't just look at the top and assume like, oh, it looks good, it looks dry, it doesn't look soggy and gross. You have to change out the dry food every 2 or 3 days, trust me. That's something I learned pretty early on as a cat owner. Yeah, as a cat care for. But yeah, she's always got dry food available, always. She just elects not to eat it, and she will scream until you give her her wet food. You will not be able to sleep until you give her her 2 or 3 spoonfuls of wet food, which is generally how much she likes to eat at one time. Cats have small stomachs, but they digest their food quickly, so they have to eat often and frequently, but they can't eat a lot in one sitting. At least house cats, that's the case, so yeah. Listen, guys, I've done a lot of research on raising cats. I'm not talking out my ass here, okay? I'm not fucking risking anything with raising someone else's cat. Also, I've literally taken care of this cat for 2.5 years before this, so, you know. We love kitties. Alexia, thank you for the $10. Really appreciate that. Says, can you call us your Pog Champs, please? Thank you, love you. Thank you. Well, thank you, my little Pog Champs. I love you all very much. Thank you for the $10. You are all my sexy, beautiful, girthy, veiny, sweaty, muscular, voluptuous, curvy, bouncy, jiggly little Pog Champs. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you, Alexia. That was very kind of you. Thank you for the $10. Based. I'll even update the dono goal, because that was $10 extra. All right. I believe I had a whole other segment we were going to do as well. Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right, guys. You know what to do when I say action, right? 3, 2, 1, action. Well. Do I feel a strong feeling of vindication right now? Ain't that right, Luna? Don't I stand vindicated as fuck right now? So, if you've been a long-term viewer of mine, you might remember a little bit of an ancient drama that happened on my channel, in which there was this sort of kind of a Twitter war that I and my audience engaged in from a lot of 2019 to like 2021, I'd say, against a group of people on Twitter one can only label the label of woke scold. Now, these people are basically very, very over the top, like stereotypical lefties who get overly offended at every little thing. They use their identity as a crutch or a shield, while at the same time engaging in the most abusive, hateful behavior towards others. They virtue signal nonstop, concern, troll, and engage in harassment and cancel culture to a degree that is beyond anything you could consider reasonable. I think we all know the types of people I'm talking about here. Well, I had my run-ins with that crowd on Twitter, and I still do to this day, though I feel like I've BTFO'd them enough now that they don't give me much issues anymore. However, we're dipping our toes back into it today, and I feel quite vindicated because for a while, I used to argue that if this mindset of over-fragility, of hyper-fragility, and that's what it is hyper-fragility, becomes too dominant in the left, it will extend beyond simply being intolerant of harmful rhetoric or harmful words and expanding to a hyper esoteric, over the top, ridiculous crackdown socially on things that are tangentially, barely, arguably problematic. So, this is what we're talking about today. This tweet didn't get a lot of support, thankfully. Only 734 likes, but it got a whole lot of quote tweets. Some ableist words you should probably cut out of your vocabulary because they're ableist. Idiot or idiotic. Crazy. Differently abled. Well, I mean, that's okay. Dumb. Insane. Lame. Moron. Psycho. Psycho's arguably ableist. Specially abled. That's okay, ableist. Or stupid. Okay? Especially if you've these words for a long time, it'll take time to cut it out. If you do accidentally say one, just say sorry, I mean whatever non-ableist word instead. Unlearning these things takes time. We appreciate the actual effort. I'm sorry, guys, but there is no other way to describe this tweet and this mindset other than hyper-fragile. Now, I'm not actually arguing that this mindset's a sincere threat to the left. I don't want you guys to think you need to go harass this person or go tell them how it really is or anything. Don't go after this person. Let's just laugh at this person through the glass. It's like a zoo, right? You laugh at the dumb fucks through the glass, but you don't actually go through the glass and fuck with the animals, right? Listen. If this mindset were to become so strong among the left that you literally could not step out of line with this without getting socially ostracized, like legit socially ostracized, there would really be no way for left-wing pundits, left-wing debaters, left-wing political analysts, or basically lefty insert the people whose job it is to convince people they ought to be left-wing, people would not be capable of criticizing the mental state in any subtle way, nor the way through which conservatives reach their positions on a logical level. You're literally taking away the ability to, like on a social level, if you argue this is genuinely something that lefties ought to phase out of their vocabulary, taking away the ability to insult the intelligence of conservatives, because insulting one's intelligence is now by default ableist? No. It's context. listen, something that's always really, really bugged me, and I know that people aren't going to find this genuine. Those that want to get offended by what I'm about to say here are going to look past all of the logic in it. Something that's always bothered me about the people who hyper-focus on the use of, say, the word retard when it comes to ableism, something that's always bothered me so much about that is that when you hyper-focus on that, and you hyper-fixate on that, words that sound mean, but even in their own context aren't even being used in anywhere close to an ableist context. Like, when somebody says, and I quote, that video game is retarded, is that ableist? Is there any ableist sentiment there? Genuinely, I want you to think on it. Besides any ableist, subtle, bias that might have lent them to use the word in the first place, is there ableist sentiment in them calling a game the R slur? No, they aren't literally or even implying that a video game can be in any way mentally deficient or, frankly, can even have any, lessened mental capacity. That's not possible, nor is it even possible on a figurative level. It's literally just being used as a harsh-sounding word to describe a thing that isn't stupid. It's like if, how in the schoolyard you say, this game is stupid. It's like a more mature adult-sounding, more guttural-sounding way of saying that to a lot of people. And I am not defending it here. I am simply making a factual statement about how the majority of people use the R slur. This is just true. I'm not even defending it. I think the R slur is harmful. I do think it is. I think that especially when streamers and content creators in the left-wing communities use it, even like I just did, it can have harmful effects. And it's why I make sure that the cases where I do use the R slur are in contexts where I'm actively calling out ableism. So let's bring it back around to the ableism I'm calling out. When people hyper-focus on these, really aesthetically easy examples of ableism to call out, it feels like it distracts a lot from, the more subtle forms of ableism or more, institutional forms of ableism that, I'm going to be honest with you guys, matter more, okay? Right now, access to mental health care, or even, for health care that, when you have a disability that's, ongoing and long-term, in much of the world, not just America, is very, very strenuous. Our culture heavily stigmatizes people with mental disabilities, or not even mental disabilities, but with mental conditions like sociopathy, PTSD, bipolar disorder, dissociative identity disorder, what else? Antisocial personality disorder. All of these different things have been heavily stigmatized to an extent, or even depression. All of these things have been so weirdly stigmatized in such harmful ways by pop culture and media that it's just ignored. It's just ignored and at worst memed about. And yet you see lefties on Twitter complaining about people calling a video game the R slur. I understand where the concern comes from, but whew. Yeah. Not to mention, if we really want to delve into the philosophical end of things, like Breadwave just said, Breadwave in chat just brought up a good point. I was just about to get into that. If we really want to dig into the philosophical side of things, calling someone stupid is ableist. Claiming that somebody's line of mental process they use to reach a conclusion is in some way, faulty, is ableist. At its core, that is ableist, objectively speaking. If I say TheQuartering is an idiot, that is ableist. I even said TheQuartering has brain damage earlier. That was ableist. And yet, nobody really took issue with it, did they? Not really. Not except the conservatives that want to, concern, troll, and virtue signal. No one really got upset about it because, well, idiot and stupid, well, besides to this particular person, don't sound as mean as the R slur does. Now, What really matters when we talk about why people use the words they use are the history behind those words, the effect they have, and the intent of said words. And I agree that we ought to phase out the R slur from most common language, I think, at least in public discussion. I think the R slur has reached a level of infamy enough that it deserves to be called a slur. It's not as bad as most slurs. Doesn't mean saying it's not as bad as the N-word. It's worse than the C slur that I can't say on Twitch for white people. It's worse than that. It's somewhere in that spectrum of severity. It's not so bad that you can't say it in most spaces, but it's bad enough that you probably shouldn't say it publicly to a larger audience that could potentially feel hurt by use of that word. That's my position on use of the R slur. It's been my position since October 2020, I'd say. Roughly. Yeah, I'd say just about. But let's be real here. I think it's important that you be able to, just for the sake of basic human communication, that you are able to insult the intelligence on some level of conservatives, those that are actively making a devout effort to take away the rights of many a minority group across this glorious, lovely, flawless nation. Anyway, listen. I also want to talk about another side of this that isn't getting a lot of attention, and that's kind of the reaction to this tweet. I'm kind of playing into this, to be fair, but 8,617 quote tweets from this Twitter account with how many followers? 2,148 followers. Their take was dumb, but come on. This is clearly just an instance of a bunch of people feeling as though they have had their... I don't think most of the people that are quote tweeting this tweet have the same take as me. That, yeah, the R slur is bad, ableism is bad, we should analyze why we use certain words and when we use them and who we use them with and what context they're used in. However, I don't think it is good to just broadly say these words are banned, you are a bad person if you don't try to phase them out of your vocabulary. Like, especially since they're broadly destigmatized and culturally accepted now. How old is this person anyway? Well, considering they are a Twitch streamer with a business email, I'm going to assume older than 18. If you take anything away from this segment, I just want it to be that the types of people who go on Twitter and make broad statements that no matter what the context, this is always how you should act. Usually you shouldn't listen to people that speak that way. Usually people that try to destroy all context, all nuance, and all, outstanding possibility. It's very much like non-compete. Do you remember non-compete and how he freaked out when Vosh brought up hypotheticals to him? He said, you're an idealist, these hypotheticals. It's like, I'm literally just trying to see if your thought process can, hold up to scrutiny. Like, if a single possible scenario comes along, will your thought process hold up to it? That's all it was. And yet, he freaked out, right? The same would happen, I imagine, if I had a conversation with this person, because, well, they're very devout in their positions. Someone like this doesn't believe that these words are harmful because of any, I would imagine, strong argument that they could, point to in every single circumstance in which these words could be used. I think it's probably aesthetic. It's really aesthetic. I imagine they felt like they were going to tweet that out and feel very brave and get a lot of, Twitter brownie points for it. There's a lot of Twitty. I love them Twitties. There's a lot of Twitter brownie points to be handed out in this space. I know that's a conservative talking point, brownie points, but there are. I'm sorry. But, lefties love to pass around the brownie points in these Twitter circles for who virtue signals the hardest. And it's real. It's true. Come on. Go, chat. Hypers, have you seen it? Come on. Raise of hands. Don't be shy. Raise of hands. You've seen it. You've all seen it. Don't pretend you haven't. Show your hands. Yeah, you've seen it. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, please consider leaving a like, subscribe, ring the bell icon. Hell, if you didn't like the segment, comment down below and tell me exactly why you didn't. And of course, if you want to see more from me, you can subscribe and ring the bell icon so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload a new video. And as always, you can follow my social media, link down below. That's where all the spiciest memes happen, particularly on my Twitter and in my fan Discord. And of course, if you want to support me financially so that I can continue to make content for you guys, and I won't at best be making, $8 an hour managing a Cinnabon in Omaha in black and white in 6 months, then you can also donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. Links in the description. Thank you so much for your support, and have a good one. Canned soy milk. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Thank you for the $5. Very kind. Says, hello, Zan and chat. Removing my white name again. Based? Based? Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Canned Soy Milk. And thank you for the tier 1. I'm so fucking stoned right now, chat. I try not to just say I'm stoned when I'm stoned because it's such like a cringy thing to do. But I need to let you guys know that if I look and sound really weird right now, it's because I'm so fucking high right now. We have fun here. We have a little fun. Thank you for the tier 1 sub, though. You're very kind. Let's update that dono goal really fast to $75 Adinos. Is that my cat trying to get the heat of my computer? Don't unplug anything, baby. Or I'll sell you to a, I don't know, to a glue factory. I'll sell Luna to the glue factory if she pulls out any of my cords while I'm streaming. I'll do it. Are you an indica or a sativa fan? I would honestly say I'm a sativa man. Because I like to get high while I'm streaming, it's kind of necessary that I prefer sativas because I like to be, up and giggly and active. I don't like it to put me down, to make me feel like I'm melting into my chair or into my couch or whatever, Damn, I'm tired. We got a lot of segments done today, guys. Was that 5 segments we did? Jesus. I like heavy sativa, but rarely do I ever get any. Green crack is a strain that is not like any sativa I've had before. I really want to try green crack. I've seen a very strong cart of green crack that's available at the local dispensary. I heard it's a really good strain of sativa strain, so I might get a cart of it. It's just like $40 a cart, though, so it's pricey. It'd have to be for special occasions. Kitty based? How are you, little baby? My little baby. What? Why are you batting at me? Why would you do this? I'm just trying to give you little head pats, little head scratches, and you're batting at me. Why are you trying to bite me? Why? Why you try to kill? Oh, she's gained a. Oh yeah, she's yeah, she's gained a taste for human flesh for sure. I think I've turned the cat into a man eater. Like she legitimately just she's drawn blood from my arm so many times while I'm playing with her because she likes to play rough. But I think she's actually gotten a taste for human flesh. Honestly, if there was like some post-apocalyptic event, I would legitimately just be finding people out in the world to like shoot and like, fillet up and feed to the cat. I'd have to feed human meat to the cat. There'd be no other way. I wouldn't be a cannibal. I'd just be the guy that's out there killing random people and cutting them up and butchering them for the cat to keep his cat fed in the post-apocalypse. Cheaper than cat food, for sure. Well, it'd be a post-apocalypse. There would be no cat food. Of course, I could always, like, catch fish or, you know, cook real food and feed the cat that, but, you know. It's funnier if you think about me having to, like, hunt humans to feed to a cat. I don't know. Zan has a quail farm and a bar where he lures in lobotomites from the wastes. Lobotomite is definitely ableist. The Fallout series is low-key kind of ableist, if you think about it. The Stern one, thank you for the tier 3 sub. I really appreciate that. How many months was that, the Stern one? Thank you. Ayo, Zan, talking with my boys, ended up brainstorming over the future of education. Imagine learning history through civilization with a history-accurate campaign. That would be fucking poggers. They need to do that. How many months was that? How many months was that, the Stern one? Was that a 3-monther or a 1-monther, the Stern one? Just 1 month? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. With higher ones, I like to make sure I'm getting the right amount of months right, because I don't want people to get underappreciated. Thank you so much for the $20, the Stern one. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the tier 3 sub. And, yeah, that would be an awesome idea. Good thinking. That's fucking dope. Dynamic Profit, thank you for the tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the $5. Based $5 says, white name, ew, no. Chad W. Fucking true. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Very Chad W of you. Speaking of, and considering that was our dono that pushed us over to $100 on the dono goal, I must admit, I'm feeling very lightheaded right now. Mostly from the headache I have due to those lights just absolutely destroying my retinas right now. I don't think you guys realize how bright these lights are, and they're just shining right into my retinas. There's just, oh, you love to see it. The kind of light that leaves a stain on your vision after you look at it for too long. So, considering that turning them off would turn me blue and whatever colors are behind me and make it too dark, I think I'm going to wrap up stream because I got a little bit of a headachy wakey right now. I need to lay down for a bit and relax and whatnot. But I really do appreciate you all coming out. I really appreciate Vosh for the raid. I thank you a lot for that. Very based and very kind. I will have to pay him back with a equally large raid of my own. What are you doing down there, Luna? What are you doing down there? You're not scratching my computer, are you? That is not a scratching post. I'm gonna touch her with my foot so she wants to get out of there. Hopefully she does not attack. She might attack. She's not attacking. Okay, she got out of there. Good. I don't like her being beneath. I don't like her being down there. One Piece 34, thank you for the $5. Based? Thank you. And Erfend Jen, thank you. Oh, wait, is it your friend Jen? Thank you for the tier 1. Give a sub to Anthony the Steeny, I guess. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the $5 as well. Based says, I got a song that slaps hard and suck on this. Okay, then. All right, let's listen to this song, One Piece. What is this? This is from Rocco's Modern Life theme song Remix Maniacs. All right, enjoy this. Thank you. Okay, this actually goes kind of hard.
Let's go. Let's go.
Alright. I don't know how much that is copyrighted, so I probably shouldn't play anymore, but that is a banger. That is definitely a banger. The link is, of course, in the donation from One Piece. Well, guys, I'm out of breath. My bladder is full. My monster energy is empty. I'm out of water. And I have a headache. I think you guys know what that means. I love all of you very much. Thank you so much for coming out today. It's been amazing. It's been lovely. You've all been beautiful and awesome and supportive and great and awesome. Expect double uploads. That means 1 upload or 2 uploads every single day, including a stream from now on. Cherry's going full time on the editing and the content management of mine now. So we're doing double uploads from here on out. It's going to be big. We're going into the stratosphere. So definitely keep an eye out for it and be there for the videos. It'll be awesome. Anyway, I love you all very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And as always, I will see you all next time. Probably tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.